this. And we live. What's good, everybody? It's Game Talk. I'm Gangster. I'm here with Brimstone, aka Digital Fracture.
What's up, guys?
My man Blue.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, not gonna call you Your Majesty, so fuck off.
I want to let that joke die, but please.
And Rambo, aka PSN Guides.
What's going on, guys?
Still waiting on those PSN guides, by the way. I'm just saying.
There is one on there right now. There is one for. Let me figure out one of them.
What's the point of a fucking guide, Rambo, if you gotta figure it out?
Oh my god.
I'm actually trying to figure out a way to change my name to something, but I can't figure so that way it matches my. Like I guess I want to create a new PSN name, or like change my name, but I got to figure out one that I want to stick with, and then I can like make that you know, because Rambo thing was like okay, and I should have just stuck with that, but I don't know why I
Well, then just
Because
go back to Rambo.
You're getting a lot of hate, dude. You got so fucking like enamored in the SJW bullshit and nonsense. They were coming at you so strong. I remember, dude.
they know. I think everybody knows that damn handle, and like that one was. You don't understand like how bad it was. Like,
oh, I get it.
then. Like it was.
Yeah.
I would wake up with like my Twitter would always say just like 99 notifications. Like it would never go. I felt like I was a damn a verified check mark, and I barely even had a following. I just like I don't even know how the hell I made it into lists for people that I don't even know how the hell I even made it into. Because it's people that I never talked to or nothing, but somehow that's where I ended up.
That's how they work, dude. If you say anything dissenting and they can easily disagree with, your name goes on a list of someone somewhere.
Yep.
Doesn't matter if they're relevant or not.
Yeah, the block list, man. There's hella people who they haven't done anything to anybody, but because they what's up, Arrow? Because they one of their friends or followers or whatever interacted with somebody somewhere sometime and did something they didn't like. You know, now they're all of a sudden they're on a block list.
Yeah, well, somebody somewhere sometimes a great time. I don't know.
But yeah, you know, it is what it is. Like, fuck them.
Yeah.
I don't know, fuck them because they might be ugly. But...
Yeah, I don't have time for weakness in my life, so I tell them to go fuck themselves. Like, if they're weak bitch ass that can't handle an opinion, dude, I don't want them around me, dude. I don't want to deal with it.
Yep.
I try to keep myself away from all that drama again, because...
Yep, they can fuck right off from whence they came.
I was fine without them, and I'm still fine without them.
Yeah, I used to like, because they would say something or whatever, I used to get into an argument with them, but then I got to think, like, after a while, I got to realizing that no matter what you say, no matter how much, like, you prove them wrong, actually, like, fully prove them wrong, it doesn't matter. Like,
nope.
And I'm like, why even bother? Why even mess with it?
Yeah, not wrong.
What? Oh, wow. Trump is trolling. Sorry.
Oh, wait, real quick.
Apparently, the White House reached out to South Dakota governor about adding President Trump to Mount Rushmore.
Do it.
He's trolling. Like,
that's pretty good.
Oh. Because I was wondering like why Mount Rushmore was trending, and that would be hilarious.
Dude.
The more you know.
And knowing is half the battle.
What's funny is he does something stupid like this and gets the media all just riled up and all the Twitter riled up about this one thing, and he'll just go over here and do all this other stuff, and they're all stuck on. I can't believe he won a Mount Rushmore. He's over here signing laws and doing everything else, and he's like, I'm left alone.
I'm like, hey, you guys didn't pay attention. That's on you.
Anybody gonna join me in Overwatch?
I'm playing Star Wars at the moment, sir. Running a raid.
Blue?
An Overwatch? No, probably not. You're already against that.
This motherfucker.
You're all by yourself.
All by myself.
Dude, I don't know what it is. I tried playing a first-person shooter like a day ago, and I was like, I'm not feeling it.
That's because you a bitch.
God damn it, dude.
I guess I don't know what to say to that, but currently Sega's like my favorite company ever, making the big moves.
Fuck.
What? Because you got all your endings on Persona?
Nah, I mean kinda, but I mean it's because a current art article I put in the chat. You know, I actually did something. Hold up, I need everyone clap for me there. But no, the article that I put there is just basically Sega's negotiating with Steam because they say platform holders, which means Steam, and they're gonna probably bring more Persona games and just Atlas games in general.
It could be Epic.
Why? I mean, they made fucking money on Steam. Why would they ever go to Epic and just tarnish another fuck you chance like for a small profit? Like a small term profit where you're like,
I'll be right
$1
back,
million.
guys.
Yep.
Like they'll give you like $1 million or $3 million for a small term game, even though in Steam the game sold and made triple like $3 million. So yeah.
I mean, you're not wrong, but that they still do it. So.
I mean, I don't think Sega's dumb enough to do that. I know I'm defending Sega, but they're negotiating, bringing more Persona games and just more Atlas games in general. Because Atlas had the wrong idea. We're like, wait, we have tons of games that are beloved, but they're only on They're really only on PS2 and PS3. What if we bring them to PC and they make money?
And Vita.
Yeah, that's what I meant. And it's like, man, I find it really dumb how they're like, wait, we released it on PC and they made money? What? It's like, man, do you not notice this? I don't know. I'm happy to get more Persona games, specifically Persona 3. Then we'll probably get Persona 5 in 2022.
I do hear 3 is excellent.
Yeah, but the problem with 3 is I heard gameplay wise, it's gonna be annoying because you can't actually control your companions. You can only set them to do stuff. You can't control them, and it kind of annoys me.
You could have just, played Persona 5 on your PS4.
I don't have it anymore. I mean, here's the thing. If I played Persona 5, I would get Here's the problem. I would get super hooked into it. My brother plays Fortnite all the time, so I would have no chance to play it, and it would bother the hell out of me that I couldn't play it. I mean, it's just that simple.
Give your brother your Steam account and let him you play.
Right? Like, I wouldn't do it anyway, even if he would. God, dude, how many fucking me and my brother? Oh, this is getting into the past.
You could join the PlayStation Master Race. And
I mean, I don't know about I don't know about going that far. But it's just
now you're a PC peasant.
No, with that, I wouldn't know if I got on far.
There's no peasantry here, sir.
I'm just really happy to get more Persona games, mainly because I clocked 221 hours into Persona 4, and I could probably do another playthrough still.
Bro, I feel like this is like a scene from Grandma's Boy, and like I'm waiting for Pete to come by and be like, and Blue touch his first booby for 24 hours.
Oh God.
I mean, that whole sentence just sounds like it's coming, dude. I'm like, you might as well just get it over with.
Weirdo, quit pushing my toes.
Yes, definitely. But no, I don't know. More Persona games on Steam. That's all I want, and it looks like we're getting them, and probably more Atlas games like the Shin Megami Tensei, I think it's called, games. Getting those.
Yeah,
that's another series of Atlas, which is basically the Persona games, but a different timeline.
Different timelines.
Yeah. I've seen those. I can't pronounce the game. I don't buy
it. Digital Devil Saga is really good. Digital Devil Summoner is really good. Like there's so
tons
many
of
other.
Apparently, there's tons of other Atlas games that are really good that were just underrated and never got the popularity they deserve. And this could be their second opportunity to bring those games into the spotlight to make money. Because the thing is, Persona 3 actually didn't sell as well as Persona 4 or Persona 5. So if they release it on Steam, Persona 3, which is the next game that's supposedly rumored to come into Steam, it'll probably outsell its original copy. So
yeah, it might. Yeah, people are finally. Dude, I've been saying. You know what's funny, Blue? Is like you're playing it now, right? I was playing a lot of these games back when they first came out on the PS2, and I was trying to tell my friends about them. They're like, "Oh no, that's not really my thing." Those same motherfuckers are like, "Persona 4 is amazing." I'm like, "No shit."
I mean, this is literally my first game, my first Persona game. Like, what year am I for that?
Yeah, because you didn't have a Vita.
Dude, I didn't even really know that much about Atlas back in the day, or even now until recently.
Just like their fighting games are really good. So.
I mean, just more Alice games I'll take, and it looks like they're gonna be expanding. So, I mean, that's all I really want. Just more Alice games, cause I don't know what it is. I just want more, and I'll buy them, full price. I don't care. So yeah, that made my week, and it's supposed to be, I think 2021 is the rumor that Persona 3 is coming to Steam, and then when that game comes out, I'm just gonna dump another 200 hours to that.
Yeah.
So yeah, everyone said 2020 is a bad year. I think 2020 is a good year now. It's definitely a good year.
A great year?
I would argue a great year. Persona made my year, and then we got Attack on Titan Season 4 in October, and a bunch of other stuff. So 2020 is redeeming itself slowly.
Don't worry, Blue. Attack on Titan's gonna flop.
Dude,
what do you mean? What are you
I can totally see it happening, bruh.
Imagine like it'll be like another Halo 5 situation. You watch the trailer, you see the ad marketing.
No, dude. I literally read the manga and caught all the way to the chapter, dude. When Season 4 comes out, that shit's gonna blow up the anime community.
Okay. Hope it's just not. I hope it's not another Darling in the Franxx situation.
Definitely not. Considering Eren Yeager's I think probably my new favorite main protagonist in anime. Because Eren just no fucks, taking lives and taking heads and all that shit now.
If you say so.
Now if I say so, it's a literal fact. Eren Yeager's a god.
Okay. Sure.
Yes.
Oh shit.
You're like, yes.
Right. Eren's my religion. But no, I guess that's really all I want to talk about is just Atlas bringing more games to PC. So I'm pooped out. Anyone got anything
else? Dude, Alice could be good. And bringing some of their old shit, dude. I was hoping that they would bring Digital Devil Saga over, dude, because there's a lot of games in that franchise that are really good.
That's what a lot of these companies got to figure out is that even if like their games are old,
oh god damn it,
like especially like with the PC, they don't have to worry about like really remastering and a bunch of shit. I mean, unless it's super, 16-bit old.
You don't need to remaster. All you do is just basically add it to get 1080p, clear it up, so everything's all clear and looks nice. That's all I gotta do.
But what they can, for a very minimal amount of money, they can drop one of their old games on PC and then make a ton more money to make another game, and and even if they want to keep it a console exclusive for a while, but then redo that over and over again, and they sit there and got themselves a good thing.
I mean, looks like Sega's already doing it, so I'm low-key interested to see what other companies might try to do it. Cause it looks like Sega and Atlas are doing it, and because they see the money and they're like, we want it now. So I'm just kind of to see what other companies will do that. But
whoever decides to come forward, bro.
I think we're starting to see more and more even consider, like, because before Atlas wasn't even considering Persona on PC
or anywhere else, because apparently
PlayStation you would never have thought was ever going to
god damn it
agree to any of their first party on PC, and now it just seems like everybody's starting to realize that hey, we don't have to do it day and date, but even if we did it 2 or 3 years later, we can still make
a ton of money.
Another good $1 million, $2 million off a game that we really didn't have to do much with it.
Yeah.
So I mean, why not?
Bro, I'm sure they made way more than that for that Persona.
Oh well, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but I mean, I imagine they.
No, I know what you mean, though.
Yeah, they didn't have to really do anything. Just kind of.
Like, hey guys, look what we brought on Steam, and everybody's like losing their minds over it. I'm like, bro, you guys were you PC community motherfuckers were like just shitting on this game like not even a year before it even comes out or before it was announced.
Shitting on it.
Wait, now what? Everybody loves it. Oh yeah, dude.
The
PC community on YouTube were like really like talking about Persona as being a weirdo game, and it's for
weirdo
weebs
game. The fuck you talking about?
Well, it is weird and it is for weebs, but that doesn't mean it's a bad game. So
Agreed. Absolutely agreed.
I feel like I just got insulted there.
You're a weeb, dude. Shut up.
No, not the weeb part. The weird part.
Oh, dude, it's hella weird.
That's the line that we don't cross, sir. You call me a weeb fuckboy, mother's boy, fucking basement throwing piece of shit. But you say anything about being a weirdo, I'm gonna throw these hands, motherfucker.
Oh man.
I love you, Blue. I love you, Blue. Nothing but love for you, buddy.
This feels awkward now.
Yeah, but come on, dude. That's like, I mean, it's not the weirdest game ever, but dude,
No,
it's so fucking weird.
Bro, there are far worse games than that out there, but like Persona in itself, if you don't understand Persona, then it comes off as weird, and I understand. But like, the PC community for the longest time used to shit on that franchise in a general sense, and now that it's on PC, they're like, oh my god, this is awesome. Like, nah, but it was weird, like not last year, you know. I mean.
Isn't that kind of almost like every community though? Because like I remember even all the PC or PlayStation guys talking about how like bullshit Cuphead was and whatever. Now all of a sudden Cuphead's on PlayStation. They're like, oh, well, damn, this game's hard. It's awesome. I'm like,
guys, the Dark Souls of platformers.
It's like the other community had a good point about how hard the game was and actually how fun it is. Huh? Who would have thought?
Yeah. I mean, but I just like nobody. These people that stick with their own, like just their own little thing, and like to me, I still stick with like PlayStation or whatever. But I'm not gonna I don't look at another just because another platform has a game. It's like those people that just shit on another game just because it's on another platform and not yours. You end up being a hypocrite like 10 minutes later because it's sooner or later it's eventually gonna hit yours and you're gonna be the one to purchase.
Yep.
Which, by the way,
Terrible.
I'm probably gonna still get a PS5, not on launch. I decided now.
I'm still wondering though, like, what's going on with Cuphead because Studio MD, whatever the hell they I think they're like studio date rape drug or whatever because like MDMA or whatever
I'm sorry, what? Studio.
Studio date rape drug.
Yeah, but it's like Studio MDRH, whatever. But I always want to say like MDMA or whatever.
Yeah,
like damn date rape drug. But they came out like right before it released on Xbox. So this game they even point blank said it will never come to PlayStation, and it was on every other platform besides PlayStation. And then all of a sudden, like 2 years later, it comes up. I don't mind it coming, but it's like, why did you come out and make this bold statement? Like,
probably just all clout. I don't know. That's the way I can see it.
Well, it just makes the developers look like an idiot because they're the ones who came out and said it. It wasn't like, and it wasn't really a thing that was necessary to even be said. They could have just simply said, "Oh no,
we have no plans for it to come out on PlayStation at this time."
Yeah, but they came out and purposely said, "This will never be on PlayStation." And I'm like,
well, whoever said that statement just needs to like rethink it or get fired or something like that because it's like
they need to rethink like how their public relations portion because like that wasn't really a well thought out thing. I'm glad it's on though because I'm glad people can now see how hard that fucking thing is.
Yeah,
like, that game is God.
I
it's
just
fun
can't get
though.
into
It's a lot of fun. I love shmups. I've always loved shmups.
It is fun, but then that game is like the trophy guide or the achievement guide is basically go buy a bunch of controllers. Because that's all you're gonna need is just a bunch of controllers. Because you're gonna eventually throw
Turbo one and oh, I got you.
Yeah, see, it's gonna be a lot of broken controllers in your house. Because have you ever played it yet?
I've not, no.
I bought it on launch. I bought it on launch day.
It's not my kind of game. That's the thing. I'm not the biggest fan of the shmups.
Well, that one, man, I remember I used to be a big fan of them back in the day, but I mean that one, like, dear God, like they were not kidding when they said how difficult it was. I mean, it wasn't, like games journalist difficult because like where you couldn't make it past the tutorial, but
game journalist.
Well, you remember that guy that couldn't even get past the damn tutorial? Like, I was like, how the hell do you even call yourself a games journalist and you can't even get past the damn tutorial in a game? Like, just stop now.
I know, like, it's almost like an open heart surgeon doesn't know how to do open heart surgery, but he can't pay for it, right?
Yeah, if you saw that guy do, he did a playthrough or whatever, and he got stuck in the damn tutorial.
The tutorial, he was there for like, what, 30 minutes on that one jump, and I'm like...
Yes, and that tells you, and it literally... And it literally tells you exactly what to do. Like, it wasn't like it was like some sort of question. I mean, it told you what to do. That would be like going to watch your heart surgeon, like not even know how to pick up a damn scalpel and go, yeah, I want him. Yeah, I'm gonna, give him. He's gonna do my open heart surgery. Like, no.
He's like, right? Yeah.
Like, why would you? I don't even understand, like, why people even take these people serious anymore, because they don't even know what the hell they're doing.
Not wrong.
I mean, I don't think, does anyone take them seriously nowadays?
You'd be surprised, man. They're like, so many people are so hung up on these game journalists' score, like these Metacritics and everything else.
Yeah, just look at
the same people that can't even fucking play a game.
Dude, it's
like, so I don't even.
How much of the people on Twitter or whatever are saying that The Last of Us 2 is a great game because it got, fucking 90 something on Metacritic because of the It's like,
and I'm like going, these are the same people that couldn't pass a damn tutorial, or they were shooting health packs because they couldn't figure out what the damn health pack. Like,
or they were no. What was it? It was the newer Devil May Cry or something where they were complaining about the music being too low, but they didn't know that it was because as you play better, the music gets louder.
Dude, my favorite one of those reviews were Devil May Cry, the combat gets repetitive, and then you find out this guy's playing on fucking auto. Which all that is basically all you can do is spam square and it gives you all the combos. And it's like, man, I'm sure the comment will be boring if all you do is kept pressing square all day. Fucking
well, then then these are the same ones that they go off of these, their scores or whatever, but then they turn around and make fun of them whenever they screw up, and I'm like going, you can't use both. Like, you can't say they know what they're talking about when they rate your game high, but they're dumb when they can't get past a tutorial or whatever it is. I'm just like, these people are idiots. Like, they know nothing about games, so them scoring it high or scoring it low doesn't mean shit. Like, I've seen them score games super low that were more fun than a lot of the games that they scored super high.
Yeah.
I guess Last of Us 2 is a masterpiece.
Oh God, no, it's not.
It really is.
I heard Last of Us 2 was amazing.
Here's the thing.
That pissed me. That didn't piss me off.
All right, guys, listen. Abby's a better ring character, and Joel is not a beloved character, as I've been told.
I heard Joel deserved to fucking die, that asshole.
No, but
I heard that too.
Well, it's because he's a white male.
No, but the thing about the whole Joel, like, even if you try Abby tortured Joel. I'm like, there's a little bit of sadistic to you torturing someone. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck?
Wait, hold on. Abby tortures Joel?
Yeah, yes. She's like, I'm the hero of the story, but I tortured this guy. Oh, he killed my father or whatever, that surgeon guy. I don't remember who he was, doesn't matter. So therefore I'm gonna torture him.
And yet what's her face was able to forgive her?
Yeah. It's fucking dumb, man.
What?
Somebody said that, well, that was a really good part that, Ellie didn't kill her because Ellie would have just been lost. It would have lost the innocence of Ellie. Fuck off!
What do you mean lost the innocence? Like, what are you talking about?
That was she watched that girl, torture basically her dad, and she didn't do nothing? Like, she just basically beat her up a couple of times and then said, okay, whatever, just go home.
I forgive you. Good luck.
Right.
And then, chapter 2, we're lovers. You've gone down on me. We're old enough to consent.
Hey, man.
But
that's coming.
It's such
eating minge is a powerful fucking thing, bruh. It heals all wounds, man.
No, but it's because the whole Last of Us 2 message is revenge is bad, but it's it tells it the worst way possible, and it doesn't even really make be like, oh man, revenge isn't so bad.
And that pussy cures everything, including a zombie virus.
No, that wasn't included. That wasn't included.
That's some high quality cooch, yo.
High quality.
No, but Brim, that pussy juice leak clip, whatever it's called, that was from the Last of Us HBO series, not the game. Or from the HBO series. I mean, does it matter? No, but
that's even better. they could come out with a Taxi Cab Confessions version.
Oh my god.
I mean, no, because I just want to be accurate when it comes to that. Like, the HBO show is gonna be a shit show, but I can't remember
Oh,
the time.
bro.
Oh yeah, dude.
Oh, it's gonna be
yeah.
terrible, dude. It's gonna be terrible. It'll be glorious.
They said the HBO show is just going to follow the first game.
Yo, we're all gonna watch it on Watch together, and we're going to enjoy it. All right?
I'm gonna watch it.
We're gonna enjoy it.
I barely watch people react to Batwoman without feeling pain. I'm not even gonna watch fucking Last of Us shit, because all I'm gonna do is feel suffering.
It's gonna be based on the first game.
Yeah, but you know they're gonna throw in as much of the second game as they can. You know it, dude.
He said that, he never ruled out that he wasn't gonna like include the second. Like,
Yeah, they're gonna start putting in what's the villain chick, not Abby, the other one.
Forgot the black chick's name.
But whatever, they're gonna introduce her like probably maybe not first season, but second season. They're gonna try and set her up so that they can, transition into the second one and all that. Yeah, they're going to.
Because the one thing The Last of Us 2 does horribly, not to shit on that game again, but it romanticizes the Fireflies, saying they were the good guys, even though there was a little bit of some retconning. Because in the first game, it never really depicted the Fireflies as good guys. It depicted them more as terrorists. But in the second game, they're depicted as heroes, and it's like, yo, what? This is some retconning if I ever saw it.
Abby was, she was like looked at as like some sort of hero, and Ellie was actually ended up being like kind of the bad guy, which made no sense either.
Man, like they ruined Ellie and that shit. They just did a lot of shit wrong.
Dude, they ruined everybody. They ruined the whole. Yeah, that's.
Well, because I think what's his name? He wanted his
Neil Druckmann
moment. Yeah, Neil Druckmann wanted his Hideo Kojima moment.
Yep.
But he's not even like a good writer like Kojima, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, he's not, but he thinks he is.
Although
to be
fair, though, I was gonna say, to be fair though, I don't think Hideo Kojima is as good of a writer as Hideo Kojima thinks he is.
Right?
But forgetting that, certainly Druckmann is not anywhere near as good as Sam.
I was gonna say, if he wanted his Hideo Kojima moment, he forgot that with Last of Us 1. And he buried it there, because Last of Us 1 was a masterpiece. As much as I clowned on that game for being a remaster the same year as the original release, it was still a great game. I loved that game.
The Last of Us, the best way to describe the first game was it was a good story with bad gameplay. I'll just put it nicely. Bad gameplay.
I don't think it was bad gameplay. I think it was. I mean, that was actually a really great game that could have just been left alone.
I didn't like the gameplay. I think Uncharted, specifically Uncharted 4, I think had the best gameplay. I like those two games.
Uncharted 4 was really good. I liked Uncharted 4 when I had it.
Of course, it was. Who was the lead?
Nathan Drake. I mean,
no. The lead of the creative team, the chick that Neil Druckmann booted out and then said, so he could build up women in games with his shitty fucking female characters. Who was the chick?
I don't really remember her name.
Fuck, I can't remember either. But yeah, she was a great fucking writer. They should have kept her ass on.
Any writers out there watching? Don't become Neil Druckmann. That's what we're taking from this.
To me, Uncharted 4, it was an okay game, but it was a terrible way to end the game because it ended up with their damn social justice crap in there, and
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, you're right. I tried not to pay attention to that nonsense, Rambo, because I knew it was gonna kill the game for me if I did.
I tried not to, but then there was too many times when you ran into that damn black woman that she just beat the shit out of you, and all of a sudden, then they had the nerve to put her as the protagonist in the
DLC.
The DLC, and you ended up having to play as her, and they try to humanize her, and I'm like, the fuck, what are y'all doing? Why are y'all trying to humanize these villains? I don't.
Well, you can humanize villains, but it's got to be a well-written villain.
Yeah, but that one wasn't. You didn't even know who this girl was, and all of a sudden she just started beating the shit out of her. The next thing you know, you're playing as her in the main game, along with Chloe, a girl that you've known in you know, you from over the course of the actual from 2 on, but somehow this I forgot what her even name was, but
I mean,
that,
peak
that
Uncharted
irritated me.
was. I mean, in my opinion, you may disagree, but peak Uncharted was the second game, Uncharted 2.
Okay. Was Uncharted 2?
Yeah, I think Uncharted 2 is peak Uncharted. That's just my opinion on the matter.
I have not played any of them, so.
Because I think Uncharted 2
I got over
best story
1,000 hours in
solid
Uncharted 2
gameplay.
online, bro.
I think
love
Uncharted
that
2
game.
was definitely one of the best Uncharted. I mean,
For me, it had the best, and Uncharted 3 was good too, but I don't know. Uncharted 2 was so much better. Even better than Uncharted 4, even though I like Uncharted 4.
Uncharted 3, I think, got irritating simply because, like, in the very beginning, you were playing so much, like with that guy, you know, trying to sneak in, and you know, you
Samuel?
had yeah, I forgot. Like that irritated
I
me.
like that
It was
about that.
slow.
That's why I liked Uncharted 2 a little bit. I said Uncharted 3.
But I see 4. I enjoyed 4, like the send off to Drake. But just the way it went down, I don't know. I think they could have done it better. But Uncharted 2, I think had the best storyline total.
I mean, yeah, I definitely did. Because the one thing I will say, Uncharted 3, I really wasn't a big fan of the final act, where you're fighting those giant temple monster things. I'm like, yeah, I wasn't a fan of that. Do you remember that in Uncharted 3?
Yeah. Like they didn't make like a good boss fight, whatever.
The final act of
I
Uncharted 3 was bad. Like, granted, the
Uncharted 3.
Uncharted 3's final act being bad is like not even comparable to Last of Us 2. Still,
No, not even remote.
It's one of the things where I think Uncharted 2 is probably like, the best in the series, easily.
I could say I would be able to.
So how's that Death Stranding game? I hear it's getting praised left and right from both PC and console.
I still haven't played it.
I still haven't played it. I own it, but I haven't played it.
It's a third person, like basically a lot of it is just like it's kind of like a third person walking sim, kinda. There's obviously combat elements in there, but it's like generally mostly a third person walking sim with a decent story from what I've heard. But it's just if it's not your type of game, don't get it because it's a really long game too.
Yeah.
So if you don't like those type of games where it's just all mostly story focused, not like how like a visual novel is like story focused only, but like a third person game that's really only story focused. If you don't like those type of games, then don't like get Death Stranding. But generally, I think it's deserved its praise. At least it's what I've heard online. I know some people may not like it, but
no, I've heard the same thing. Everything that you're telling me right now, I've heard before, so that seems pretty legitimate. I know Ghost of Tsushima is becoming a real big hit. Like I've already seen a few of my streaming buddies play it, and they fucking love that game, dude. They're like, dude, like there's so much content in Act 1. And he showed me the map of Act 1, and I was like, holy god damn, dude.
I mean, from what I've heard, it's like you got Assassin's Creed, but in Japan finally.
I mean, Tenchu.
It is, but it's even better combat than Assassin's Creed. So
I was told it's a better Tenchu Stealth Assassins.
Damn.
It is.
And
Like,
Tenchu is a damn good game.
It's one that you can either play as a
samurai or
an
shinobi.
assassin. Like you can play as an assassin, like where you're coming up and sneaking up, but like every time you come up and sneak up behind somebody and like kill them, like say Assassin's Creed does, you get like a flashback in the very beginning of your uncle that you're trying to save or whatever, telling you that a samurai looks in their enemy's eyes whenever they kill them. They show them the dignity of, looking them in the eyes. So it kind of makes you want to actually go in there and fight
samurai way.
Yeah, fight the samurai way.
I mean,
it's actually, it's an awesome game.
I think I'm gonna eventually play it. Like even if I only end up playing it like on PS5. Or
And the
PS4.
super irony is that a whole bunch of games journalists say that it's totally disrespectful of Japanese culture, but then the Japanese like it way better than those guys do.
Yeah.
I mean, the one thing
go
about
figure. I mean,
right.
The one thing about is if I did play Ghost of Tsushima soon, I'd probably pick the Shinobi path because I know that like it sounds cool being a samurai, but I'm a Naruto fan. I love Shinobi, so I'm definitely just gonna pick the Shinobi path.
Fucking weed.
I don't care if it's less honorable. I'm gonna be a Shinobi. I'm gonna become the next Hokage.
Well, I mean, why not play it both ways? So that way, I mean, you can play through one way, and then like
I heard the samurai playthrough was pretty good.
Completely. It kind of changes the game, like the way you play it.
Like, yeah, I mean, it depends. It probably does have that replay value where you play through both ways. But if I did play it, I'll probably do the Shinobi path. Which I might end up playing it too, because I ended up playing Spider-Man, and even though Spider-Man is 30 FPS, it really didn't bother me, and I really enjoyed that Spider-Man game, Spider-Man PS4. So I might end up just playing Ghost of Tsushima on PlayStation.
The Spider-Man thing, like, people are like irritated. I guess they're.
I like Spider-Man. I like Spider-Man, bro, but not that much to give two shits about what's exclusive.
Well, I mean, it's not. I mean, it's not even so much I care. Because I don't care that he's exclusive, because I fully understand as to why.
Oh,
I mean,
are you talking about the Marvel game?
Yeah, but people are blaming like Sony for it, and I'm like going, like, okay, so you're telling me if Marvel, and Disney, a multi-million-dollar company, billion-dollar company, came to you and they wanted your character, like you owned it, the movie rights, and so you had a gaming platform that you wouldn't leverage everything you could to get as much as you could out of the deal, because they needed it, so they were going to pay you no matter what. And so, I mean, they even Marvel even came out and said that the future of Spider-Man on consoles is with PlayStation. And so
yeah, because Sony has like direct control over that versus like other IPs. And
so, I mean, then everybody was like kind of like, I guess, freaking out that like he was going to be exclusive in that game, and I'm like going, what part did you like not listen to that, like the entire, the whole thing of how Spider-Man PS4 came about? And it actually, once they renegotiated their contract, it became even stronger, because Sony wanted more. Sony gave up more of the I guess the profits of the movie to 25% instead of 5%, and
to get more game control of Spider-Man.
More game control, yeah. And it's
which,
I mean, I get it sucked for the other platforms, but I mean, like this Sunday, it was a smart move on their part. Like they were definitely going to get something out of it.
I mean, I can still see why people are frustrated with that. Granted, maybe
I'm frustrated, but I mean, they're blaming Sony, but I mean, Marvel's the one that did it. Marvel didn't have to say that. I mean, Marvel they should have just written their story without Spider-Man or whatever, if they couldn't get it. But Marvel's the one that agreed to it.
I mean, with that though, people want Spider-Man in those type of games, because because people were mad a long time that like they didn't have Spider-Man in the MCU franchise for a while. People were pissed about that. So the idea that you're gonna have an Avengers game about Spider-Man was, I guess, not very nicely happy for a lot of people.
And let's be fair, it's not necessarily like the fact that it's an exclusive is why people are mad. It's mainly based on continuity, right? Like a lot of the situations that take place in the MCU involve Spider-Man. And the game industry has broken that apart, you know what I mean? And that's fucking stupid. So, I mean,
well, it's no different than the X-Men break, because X-Men was owned by Fox and Marvel was owned by
exactly my point,
Disney.
Dude.
Yeah,
I mean, it wasn't a little bit of that in Age of Ultron where they couldn't call. I think they couldn't call Silver. What's the guy's name?
Silver Surfer.
Not Silver Surfer.
No. The speed guy.
In Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
Oh, Quicksilver.
Yeah, they couldn't call him Quicksilver because Quicksilver is a X-Men property technically.
No, they couldn't call him. They couldn't call him mutants because that was.
Oh,
X-Men.
right. Yeah.
That's what they couldn't call them. They couldn't call them mutants because X-Men.
But it is what it is.
I mean, it's gonna be a weird thing. Like if the game's gonna be different, like for people who don't have PS4 and play as Spider-Man, I mean, I can definitely see why people get mad. Like, I'm not gonna deny, but maybe I'm just a little disconnected because I just.
Well, and here's part of it, right?
Because
I'm with everybody. I totally get it because I hate exclusives and all that shit. But here's the thing, right? So many people love to say that, oh man, if I was the creator of, say, Spider-Man, You know, I would never accept a deal like that. It's like, shut the fuck up, dude. If Disney came to your fucking house and showed you a check for fucking $15 million for exclusive rights for your character,
that's
or whatever it is, right? It's like, you would sign so
that,
fucking fast, your pen would be smoking by the time you were fucking done.
Or if like you owned Spider-Man and Disney came to there and said, okay, look, and you know how big the Marvel, the Avenger movies were at the time, and they were like, we need Spider-Man. You're telling me that these people would honestly go, okay.
Yeah, I'm not giving it to you.
No way.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is,
you would rape them for every dollar you could get.
Exactly. And if you had a gaming platform, tell me you wouldn't try to negotiate something to not only benefit in the movie side, but also the video game side, so that way it's a win. It's a big win for you over. I don't know. I mean, I can't blame Sony for negotiating with.
I mean, I could still not like it. Like, I think you could still not like it, and that's totally fair.
Sure.
You could still not like it.
Yeah, but a lot of people watch it with rose-colored glasses.
Yeah.
You know.
But they're blaming Sony like Sony did something wrong, and I'm like, Sony. The only thing Sony did is negotiate. They're a business.
Money's money, dude.
And in what world do you think do you think Fox would have given up the X-Men to Disney to let them do whatever they wanted to? Would Fox not make any money from it? No.
Yeah, sure. But else Disney kind of bought Fox, so I mean that was a
whole. Yeah.
In the end, yes. But I mean, if they wanted to make a new X-Men movie and they wanted to bring them into the fray, and Disney came to Fox and was like, "Look, we really need the X-Men. We need Wolverine." And do you think Fox would have been just said, "Oh, okay, gotta go ahead"? No.
I mean, with that though, I could still, they're still probably gonna make a new X-Men, but
they have to, yeah, because the original Fox movies don't fit in with the MCU, so they're gonna have to redo it.
I mean, and nobody's saying that. I mean, clearly everything's gonna change or whatever, but I mean, still, Disney. I guess the only person you can really blame in this whole deal is Stan Lee and Marvel, because they're the ones who threw away all these characters because they didn't make them, instant millions.
Right.
And because they didn't know what the fuck they were doing with them. That's why.
Right.
Yeah. And then
everybody remembers X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Stop, please.
No, X-Men. No, the X-Men with Deadpool.
That was Origins. Yeah, that was Origins Wolverine.
Okay.
Yeah, and Gambit too. They fucked Gambit up hard, man.
But I mean, you can't. I mean, they're the ones who threw away their characters like they were nothing, and now all of a sudden they were like, "Oh, wait a minute, these things can actually make money. I want them back." And well, these people that now own them aren't just gonna go.
Well, that was kind of the problem, right? Because the X-Men movies were actually pretty popular, and they made a bunch of money, but then a whole bunch of the spin-offs didn't. Yeah, and so they just kind of gave up. As if they could have stuck with it, man, they could have made a lot more money on it. But
what I still don't understand though was why they decided instead of just if they weren't making any money, obviously they weren't making the millions they were with say Iron Man and stuff. But
no, but I mean,
why would they turn around and sell all of them? Instead of just holding on to them, just just in case.
It's because they didn't think they'd make money off it at the time. Because here's the thing: who could have predicted the massive success the first Iron Man movie was going to have?
I could have. Fucking Robert Downey Jr., bruh.
No, but nobody's even suggesting that they would make tons of money or whatever. Just the fact that. Just a minute. But the fact that they just gave up on it so quickly, it was just bam, done. And then all of a sudden, you had them. Why not? It's like you own a '68 Chevy, 68 Chevy Camaro, and sure, I mean it's not worth as much right now because you haven't fixed it up. But why turn around and sell it for pennies on the dollar whenever you know if you just keep with it, it can end up being worth $200,000 or $300,000. They just threw it away. They just so quickly.
Especially after Logan too. That was the real nut punch. Logan proved that they could still make money with this stuff if they just took it in the right direction.
Logan came out way later though, dude.
Sure.
Way later.
But
But not after Disney bought him though, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Disney bought bought Fox and X-Men and all that after Logan came out. Now maybe it was real close.
Disney would have never allowed Logan to ever be made.
That's
But,
a good movie, though.
It was definitely
Don't hurt my memories.
after.
That was such a good movie. We don't hurt my memories of that.
But like, what? I mean, hell, why wouldn't Disney do something with that? Even that new girl that came out of Logan. But I mean, I guarantee you, like, they're like now Disney's sitting on. It's like Disney's sitting on all those IPs now instead of them turning around and selling them like what Marvel did.
Wasn't that supposed to be like Lady Deathstrike? Wasn't she supposed to be technically Lady Deathstrike?
No. 2 different characters. Lady Deathstrike was an enemy for Wolverine, whereas Weapon
she was a friend.
23, she was technically she was the next iteration of Wolverine.
Yeah, she was gonna be the female version of Wolverine.
Yeah.
Every one of the Marvel characters has a female version.
Pretty much.
She was the female version.
Yeah, but didn't they fall in love before like all that shit happened to them? Like they even I remember in the cartoons they were like running the flashbacks of them together before she became Lady Deathstrike.
Yeah, but that's happened with a lot of Wolverine's enemies. Like
Wolverine.
What can we say, man? Our boy gets around, dude.
Dude, he does.
Yeah, Wolverine's kind of a whore. So
didn't Wolverine have a relationship with Mystique too?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's been a bunch of enemies where and that's the thing. He's kind of like the biggest anti-hero of the maybe besides like
the biggest
Cable.
Chad. I was like, yo, what?
Well, certainly yes, but also like maybe besides Cable or somebody like that. But certainly on the full side of the good guys, he's like one of the biggest anti-heroes of the group. So kind of makes sense that he takes a walk on the wild side every once in a while.
He's more of the guy that's like, yo, I'm just gonna slit your throat. You're not gonna tell me anything about being good. Okay?
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Well, that
he
really
wants a wheel in the wagon. What do you want him to do?
I mean, to be honest, he doesn't really with his abilities. He has no really worries of actually being being able to kill him. So.
Well, unfortunately, Logan kind of dispatched that theory.
Well, that was.
No, because that's technically canon. Like, it's not like Wolverine, because Wolverine did die several times throughout the comics, so it's not like Wolverine was completely invincible. Like, but I mean, he was just long-lived and really hard to kill. So that is what it is.
I mean, his brother was in the same boat, dude.
Right. Although his healing wasn't like Wolverine's though. That's
no, it wasn't as good. No.
But, still. I mean, and that's a lot of, there's lots of comic characters and shit that are supposed to be invincible, quote unquote, that end up, either dying or getting killed or something like that. It happens all the time. Like, and you almost have to. This is one of the things that happened with Superman in the very beginning. In the very, very beginning, Superman wasn't actually all that strong. He could leap a tall building, he could stop a freight train, and some shit like that. But that was about it. But after a few years or whatever it was, like, he was so powerful he could fucking juggle planets and go around the Earth fast enough to reverse time and shit like that. And the comic just became boring because what's a challenge to somebody who's so invincible he's basically a god, right? It's like, oh, God wins, and then God wins again, and then he wins again.
Red or green kryptonite within 3 inches or
and that's the thing.
feet.
That's what they had to do, right? So in order to make Superman an interesting character again, they had to give him a weakness. And it's the same thing happens with most other comic book characters if they don't start off that way, is they'll start off basically invincible like Wolverine, but then they'll write something in to where, oh no, his the adamantium is poisoning him long term, or or there's a supervillain that's got a specific power that's really good and will kill him and shit like that. It happens all the time.
Fucking beat the shit out of Superman. It's not all that.
That's the problem. I mean, I think that's one of the problems with the superhero thing is the people who write them in the very beginning. They're not fully thought out characters.
Sure.
They're just.
I don't know about that, man. Spider-Man's fucking.
Well, no, but that's Spider-Man's an amazing example, right? He's like the top class of writing as far as like comic book heroes
and he's
go.
an easy he's actually an easy write and considering like his like an art form and stuff like that compared to somebody like that you make Invincible like Superman or a Wolverine or whatever. Like where like they never like you said they sort him out as Invincible, and then you've got to figure out a way later on because otherwise there's no point. Nobody wants to read or watch a comic or watch a movie. Not watch a comic, but watch a movie or
watch
play a
a
game,
comic,
whatever,
read a movie. It's all good.
Yeah.
And if you watch it on YouTube, you're kind of watching a comic.
There's never like the
challenge.
guy never has a challenge. I mean,
right.
So they never really fully once they make him invincible, they never think it all the way through.
Yeah, it's
and
you
so
know, but that's all writing, right?
Yeah,
that happens with movies. That happens with fucking
it happens
TV shows.
A lot more though to me. It seems though with superheroes.
Sure, and I'll tell you what, it happens a lot more with anime too, and I think I know why, because there's a lot people give a lot more leeway to both comics and anime because they're drawn and not live action. Sure. You can do a lot of crazy stuff. Like just look at all the justifications that they have to build in to take a comic book character and put him on the big screen. You know? Whereas with comic books, it is what it is, you know?
But anyway, comic books,
is what it is.
I mean, they've been like killing the comic book industry here lately.
Oh, definitely.
Like the stuff they're retconning in there, and like it.
I mean, are you talking about Comicsgate?
Well, that among other things, sure.
That I think it's part of it, but I mean, just in general, I mean, like they're like what they're doing to like Thor and all that, like it's just. I get that, like, it's still part of, I mean, consider, like, maybe part of the lore of them, but the way they're doing it is just, like, they're killing them. And
yeah, Ironheart
and
female Thor and fucking Black Captain America or whatever, or Latin American Captain America.
What happened? Yo, like whatever happened to the Snowflake group? You guys remember those guys?
Oh God, Safe Space and Snowflake, dude. Oh my God.
Did they get? I think they even get it past pre-production because eventually no one was buying it. Like
I could have I could have swore I heard something about them getting canceled right quick, and it doesn't surprise me. But you know.
I mean, here's the thing: they're killing off the comic industry, and then they're saying, "Oh, the comic book."
Well, no, they're killing off the mainstream comic industry, right? They're killing off DC and Marvel and shit like that. But comics are still around, and like as Comicsgate proves, you can still sell your shit, and hundreds of thousands of people will buy it. So I think it happens in every industry that gets too corporatized, right? The big corporations take over, and at first they're fine, but after a while, everything becomes too corporate, too safe, too bland, too general, right? Because they want to appeal to the widest audience possible, and then nobody wants their shit anymore because you can't please everybody ever. And then the big corporations die, or if the corporation doesn't die off, at least that section of the corporation dies off, and then indie type studios and stuff spring up out of nowhere, and then they take over, and then they become too big and too corporate, and the cycle just keeps continuing. It's happened with games, it's happened with movies, it's happening with comic books. It's these art forms aren't gonna die. People act like these art forms will die off, and it's like that's never gonna fucking happen.
Wait. I think the actual idea of the comic books themselves, because I mean they're already waning in popularity as it is anyway.
I don't know about that, dude. I think it's all.
The younger generation just isn't growing up in comics like the way that we were. And
okay, maybe print comics, sure, but dude, web comics have fucking exploded.
Yeah, but I mean,
also,
if Marvel keeps like Marvel and DC and all them keep hiring these people that are like it's almost like they're purposely trying to destroy these characters. Like it's like they've taken, say, Captain America, and he stood for everything that's good or whatever. And I get that he has the lore of the bad guy, about being, with the bad guy. But it's almost like they've taken him, and now they know that he's a beloved character, and these writers now they hate the idea of he's a white male. But so they are going to do everything they can to destroy him as a...
You're breaking up pretty bad there, Rambo.
Okay, is it better?
Little bit.
Okay, it seems like they're doing everything they can to destroy what
Well,
everybody
sure.
knows
Like,
and loves about.
especially in the example of Captain America, he stands for everything that they hate.
Yeah.
Everything.
Well,
Not just that he's a white male, but he stands for America and the values that made America great, and all this sort, like everything that they hate. He is the epitome of, right? He's the classic cut good guy. He's the American patriot. The
that's what makes me
principled.
wonder,
Yeah.
like how long can these web comics, even web comics, last? I mean, because you've got to imagine the audience for this, crappy agenda is a lot smaller than the audience for.
Well, but that's my thing, right? Web comics, there's no big giant corporation that you have to get into in order to publish your shit. So if you go search,
no, I was referring more to like these actual like big characters, because I know that Marvel and DC.
Well, that's the thing. So the big characters might die for sure. Like that might happen.
I think the big ones will die off in the print area, but we'll go on into the movies.
Sure.
But
but people say that like comics themselves, like the art form of comics. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like that's never gonna die. It might die off in print, and there might be characters that die off, but like it's not like it's ever gonna go away.
That's like saying books are gonna die.
As long as there is a newspaper, as long as there is a newspaper somewhere, comics will never die. I mean, there'll always be a need for a comic. The comic pages in the newspaper or the.
But even that, I don't even think you need that, because I know of a bunch of webcomics, top quality, good stories, and they just put their shit up on either Facebook or Pixiv or one of those.
I'm just saying there's there's no way that comics will ever just die out completely. I mean, there's always, whether it be in like the webcomics like what you're talking about, where people are just they sign up for it or whatever and they get it. Or you buy a newspaper, there's always going to be a comic strip of something somewhere.
Sure.
And just the art form itself, like the actual way the comics are drawn, it attracts people no matter what. Like, it's just the way, I don't know what it is about the art form, but like if you see a comic, it's like it'll make you look at it just.
Sure. Well, dude, I mean, people have been telling stories in sequential art for how many thousands of years?
You're talking about my love that I fell in love with when Weapon Zero first came out, and that was by the team that did Spawn, dude. Like, Weapon Zero was that, like, sci-fi art style form like COD, but it was, like, sci-fi. And it was fucking dark, and it was good. So, like, I know what you mean. Like, sometimes when you look at those art styles, dude, that's actually what you see first, and that's what, mentally, that's what pulls you in.
I mean humans are visual creatures. That's a big part of it.
Yeah.
And also, there's unique stories that you can tell through those comics that you just can't really do on visuals, and the thing you can see is like a lot of stuff. And also, with comics dying, I wanted to add my 2 cents into that. I think the mainstream will die because they have more competition, because they have Korean web comics and manga to compete with, and they're getting crushed by those mediums right now.
True. I feel, I can see that.
Because you have like God of High School, Tower of God, and just basically every other successful manga on Shonen Jump right now, just topping sales. Well, you have Marvel's current line of comics just dropping like rocks.
But I think Marvel Comics will drop just simply because the way that whoever they're hiring are destroying the comics. But Marvel itself has never. I mean,
not Marvel. I didn't mean like Marvel itself drop. I mean their comics brand.
Like manga, the comic strip will. Well, because everything, all the good guys in Marvel stand they all stand for something that almost all these new writers that are writing for them hate.
Yeah, it's true.
So they're doing everything they can to destroy the legacy of these characters, and none of us that grew up with them are going to continue reading it.
Everyone forgets Captain America fought against communism. Everyone sends that one comic strip where he was punching a Nazi, even though there's like hundreds of him just beating the shit out of communists.
What about fucking Captain? What was it, Captain USA? You remember that guy?
I'm not sure who that is. But...
He was literally like the opposite antithesis of Captain America. And like,
well,
he was not character, wasn't he?
He wasn't quite opposite. He was like opposite side of the same coin, though, right?
Yeah.
Because he was still a good guy, but he just gave no fucks and was more like Wolverine or something, I think.
Yeah.
But either way, I mean, it's
I mean, it's
know,
hard to release stupid woke garbage comics when you have so much competition that's just crushing you. Even ignoring like manga and Korean comics, just go look at like the local competition, like small writers that are just beating the shit out of Marvel right now.
Sure.
Well, luckily though, I guess Disney now owns. I mean, obviously, I don't.
I don't know
like
about luckily, man. Disney fucking.
Yes, I get it.
Star Wars.
But luckily, they own Marvel now because in Marvel's history, when their the actual comic books start like dying off, they just get rid of the character, even if they're doing good on the screen.
Right.
But Disney, we all know Disney never gets rid of an IP.
Nope.
So
Disney's gonna release another remake for Little Mermaid. Watch.
Yes, I mean Disney.
Give it time,
that's the one good thing. That is the one good thing about Disney owning them is that they can keep all the characters together. Whereas before, if Marvel still owned them, you would have all their characters formed out to all these different picture companies just simply because their comic books aren't doing well. Like they had a really weird, like a backwards way of dealing with the movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't really read Marvel comics because I just think manga's a million times better. It does make me
wonder though, in that Marvel Avengers game, how are they going to? I mean, unless Spider-Man is just in there basically for the web slinging and stuff like that, and he doesn't have any sort of arc or anything in that game, or if he's just like in the multiplayer section where you know somebody will look over and go, oh, there's Spider-Man. Other than that, I don't see how they can make it exclusive because if he actually has a story arc, then how is it going to make sense with all the other games? Like these people, Square is going to have to make like two separate games, like consistently, because Xbox players and PC players will never get to hear like them talk about, Spider-Man, and PlayStation players will. I mean, it's going to be a weird dynamic. That to me, that means that Spider-Man doesn't really have that big of a part in the game that is what everybody's thinking.
Yeah, maybe.
I think the reason why, Rambo, that people are up in arms about it with Spider-Man and making it into a bigger deal than it really is because Spider-Man, like, all of a sudden just sprouted this fucking popularity out of nowhere, dude.
Yeah, where did that come from? Everybody become a Spider-Man fanboy?
I don't know, dude.
I don't either.
I mean,
I've always been a huge fan of Spider-Man, but
me too.
It was weird to see everybody all of a sudden love it. I mean, maybe it was just like
I loved it back when Sony was screwing up the movies. I loved Spider-Man. Like it was. We were faithful. No matter how many times they rebooted it. No matter how many times they rebooted Spider-Man, we went and watched it and still enjoyed it or whatever. But now all of a sudden, all these new Fairweather fans are like, Spider-Man's the shit, and
there's like this all of a sudden like this undying community for it, dude. And I'm like, where did you guys come from, bro? I've been a fan, but not like that. Fuck.
And they're diehard fans, like, and to the point of like where it's like either Spider-Man or bust. And I'm like, what? Like, where did Spider-Man or bust? Come up? It's weird, right? I don't know where Spider-Man became so popular. Because used to it was always like Superman, Batman, Iron Man, but Spider-Man was never a central theme like he is now. Now I guess Marvel's even talking about like making Spider-Man the head of the Avengers. Like,
I remember.
Oh, I mean, he basically is. Unless they really change something, he basically took over for Iron Man as the lead of the Avengers.
How do you do that whenever you the natural progression should have been Captain America, but obviously Captain America, we all know what happened to him and how he became transracial.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I don't either because I hate the MCU Spider-Man. I absolutely hate. They gutted everything that made Spider-Man Spider-Man. So,
yeah,
but
It seemed like even in his standalone movies, it was more about the Avengers than it was about Spider-Man.
I mean, the first one was okay. I would have been reasonably all right with that as a starting point, but the second one really fucked things up. And yeah, I mean, this was the argument that Mahler and Shad had on fucking one of the EFAPs. Is like, how much can you change spaghetti before it's not spaghetti anymore? And that's the thing. They changed Spider-Man to the point where they took away everything that made him Spider-Man. They took away big old Uncle Ben. They took away with great power becomes great responsibility. They took away the fact that he was basically just a normal, not normal, but, he wasn't some, Iron Man super rich playboy or whatever. He was just a college kid who was really smart and could leverage that to make some interesting gadgets, and then he had his powers, and that was kind of one of the biggest appeals of Spider-Man was that while he was doing his superhero stuff,
could relate.
Yeah, while he was doing his superhero stuff, he was also dealing with, if he saved some lady from a robber or something, he'd be late for class. Or, if he's on his way delivering pizzas and he had to do some shit, then he'd be late delivering the pizzas, and that would fuck up his job and shit. That was one of the best parts of Spider-Man. And they ripped all of that shit out when they introduced him into the MCU. And like I said, the first one, they could have gone from that and built on it and made it still enough a Spider-Man, but they didn't. They went totally left field and made him Iron Man's protege, and Iron Man grooming him to be his successor basically and shit like that. And it's just like, okay, well, that's not Spider-Man anymore. That's Iron Man 2.
Yeah,
with spider powers. Yeah, he's Iron Man but with spider powers. That's it. That's But
and then the Iron Man suit, the Iron Man Spider-Man suit. That was the weird thing.
What though? Like, I think they did that well though. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
they could have even kept that.
They wanted to make sure. They wanted to make sure they could keep somewhat of like Tony's legacy alive. You know what I mean? So I kind of understood that.
Okay, so now, but how do you take like the Captain America thing? How do you take an already established character? I forgot what his name is now because I never really cared about him.
Rogers?
But how do no?
Oh, the other one. Not Hawkeye.
Falcon or whatever.
Yeah,
Falcon.
How do you take an established character and then all of a sudden turn him into Captain America? And the thing that made Captain America was the whole freezing and the serum that he got put in. And now all of a sudden, like this random guy that's not even actually a superhero has no superpowers.
He's a tech superhero. Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna be Captain America. Like, no, that doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, it should have been Bucky.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, yes.
But yeah, it's like I said, they should have ended the MCU on fucking Endgame. That should have just been it. They
should have, yeah.
They should have ended it there, and they could keep going, but they needed to do a complete reset.
Can we all say a dark Bucky is a fun Bucky? That out there. Because that motherfucker was on a kill spree, bro. Like, that motherfucker almost got a nuke in Japan, bro. Like, I'm just saying.
You're not wrong.
Like, I wanna see more of that shit, dude, because that was badass. I mean, that motherfucker was taking down crime syndicates like crazy.
Or a Dark Hawkeye. Dark Hawkeye was pretty fucking cool too.
Dude, yeah, dude, give me more of that guy.
Dark Hawkeye was evil.
Right?
That was amazing. That motherfucker was also in Japan doing the same shit.
Dude, he's Batman but turned up to 11, man. They could have done some cool shit with his character if they had kept him on that path.
Yeah, he was like on Batman turned up to 100. Like that boy was
no fucks given.
Unstoppable. Yeah,
that motherfucker, he's all, what did we, what was that? Well, like in that movie, dude, he was like, what did we ever do to you? He's all, absolutely nothing. Slit! I was like, shit. That guy's got some demons to bury with some people.
We need some stories of them dealing with like the good and bad inside of them.
Yeah, dude, like I always appreciated like the dichotomy of both sides being in somebody that's lawful good, right? So like when you see Batman, for instance, right? Everybody thinks Batman was this amazing person at the jump. I'm like, dude, when he first started out, that motherfucker was breaking necks. Like he was killing people, right? I like that shit though, because it shows you that like they weren't always like this hoity-toity, you know, justice go good for nothing guy. Like this guy started off being a villain. And I like seeing that shit. And like Injustice,
or not a villain, but a douche on the side of the angels, right? Like
right, there you go. Yeah.
Like what's
exactly.
the guy either Rorschach or Comedian in Watchmen, right? And that's why everybody's favorite characters are those two. And
I think the only hero that I can think of that was like this completely lawful good was as Superman. I don't remember him. I mean,
Captain America. You know, for 99% of it. No, there was. Well, that's the thing. It's like, what do you count as canon? Because it doesn't matter what comic you look at. True. There's some that just go way off into left field. But if you take the general gist, you know, there are a few. Superman, because there were a couple times when Superman went evil too. But do you really count those? It's like, yeah. So Superman, Captain America, Thor. You know, there's a bunch more where 99% of their material, they are the lawful good. They will never, you know, break their principles, shit like that. Well, but I've never found those as compelling as the Batmans or the Wolverines or the Comedians or whatever, where they have a bit of darkness to them.
Like look at the game in Injustice, Gods Amongst Us, dude. Superman literally rips the fucking heart out of Joker, dude. Like I was like, yo. Like that Superman, I would watch that Superman way more than the Superman we got now.
Wait a minute.
No, but with that though,
Superman's powers, if they ever made Superman like have his dark side?
Yeah.
No.
Superman Injustice is a villain. It would be a Michael Bay movie.
No, Superman in Injustice is a villain. He becomes dictator of the world. He's just some like
he actually
dictator of the world.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying if you want, well, he easily could. He's a god, and nobody's actually gonna ever stand against him.
Like,
but I mean, like,
he fucking straight up kills Adam. Like,
could you imagine? I mean, the movie would end up being a Michael Bay movie, just a bunch of explosions and people dying. Like,
I mean, the Injustice.
But you know what? Sometimes, Rebel, you need that. Sometimes
I would enjoy it. I would
watch it. There is a place and time for Michael Bay, and if it was to bring out Superman as a villain, that would be nice.
Dude, Injustice, the first game had a really good story. I'd be so down for an Injustice movie.
Well, that's one of the reasons that I actually didn't mind Batman versus Superman so much, was because it showed a scenario where Superman might actually become the bad guy, and it was believable, and it was, you know, relatable and shit.
Exactly, yeah.
And I love that line where Batman, Bruce is talking to the butler. Alfred, and he's like, if we consider it if there's even a 1% chance of him going bad, we have to take it as an absolute certainty, and that's the right attitude.
Yeah, because with Superman, like there was no in between. It was either all or nothing on one side or the other. Regardless of red or green kryptonite or whatever fucking kryptonite was involved, he went to one extreme or another. He never floated the middle line, ever. So, I mean...
He became a villain and got completely wrecked, at least in the first
I agree. So. Yeah, I remember that, dude. And, like, I like it when, like, to me, here's the thing, right? When you play around with superheroes, and especially if they're lawful good, like, I like how fun they could be when they're evil, because then you see a side of them that you're just like, dude, that was fantastic. Let's do it.
But for me, he killed Shazam. I can't forgive that.
I know.
Shazam was a shitty movie.
The one thing that I think that I would want to see was an actual Batman versus Superman, where it would actually be more realistic, because there's no way in hell that Superman would ever give Batman the opportunity to think and plan.
Right.
And he would just basically show up, take him, and fly him up into the air and go bye, and you know, just be done. Because there's nowhere in the world that Batman beats Superman in a normal, like, because nobody's gonna give somebody the time to think and try to figure out how to beat you.
An evil Superman would not give you time to think about shit.
Well, yeah,
a good Superman does. Yeah.
No, but
Well, yeah.
Batman
If you're talking about, if you're talking about Superman and like Injustice Superman, like, well, I mean, he'd become Hitler real quick. Like he just like, fuck you, boom, you're done.
Give him the gas chamber.
Yes.
Like the idea that Batman would just instantly die as Superman is kind of ludicrous because Batman obviously like is better than he seems.
Oh yeah. No, I agree. Like
the idea that Superman can just fly over and just kill.
All right. But here's the thing, though. Goku would beat them all, and that's just all there is to it. So
yeah, obviously.
Goku cannot beat Superman. Sorry.
Yes, he fucking could. Yes,
no,
he fucking
can't.
could.
Sorry. Nope.
Yeah, and also One Punch Man. No, he's cheating. That's
well, yeah, One Punch Man's fucking. He's fucking.
Where the fuck are we starting to bring anime shit, you guys? Goku?
Well, what? Yeah. Superheroes okay, but anime characters? No, that's ridiculous. Come the fuck on.
You're trying to bring weed characters into like actual superheroes.
Actual superheroes, as if they really exist.
Yes.
As if this one set of superheroes, they're okay, but this other over here, no, that's unrealistic. What are you talking about?
Well, yes, because that's for the Japanese audience. They only exist in Japan.
Oh god.
Well, fuck, in that case, Spawn can fuck everybody up.
Right?
I mean, no, yeah, but like, I don't know. I just, for some reason, ever since I played Injustice and I've read some of the alternate universes stuff, like, I actually prefer those story arcs versus like their lawful good counterparts because
that's not where I wanted to go.
The lawful good shit is just so easy to fucking just automatically guess at what's gonna happen. You more than likely you're gonna be right, you know. With
it
also
at least sucks in the movies when you're watching it and you know that something, like the dude's about to do something and you know that he's lawful good, so he's not going to actually ever react, and you're like, just do it, like just knock the shit out of him, but he just won't, you know, because.
Yep.
That's the problem I hate about the movies is that, like, especially like the Captain Americas or the ones that just basically end up where they can't die and they're lawful good is like you already know like how it's gonna end and how it's gonna go. It's like it's a very easy story. Basically, the only thing you have to do is figure out who the villain is.
Well, this is the thing, right? Those heroes are the hardest to write good stories from. Or for.
To keep people interested, yeah.
Right.
They're very easy to write a story for, just not a good story.
Right, yeah, because if you follow the trope or the archetype, well, then everybody knows what's going to happen already. To do something where people are actually interested and something unexpected happens, that's really difficult. And it does kind of separate the boys from the men with the writer. Well, that's the, it depends on what you like, right? Like I said, I prefer the anti-heroes.
I mean, obviously, I'm not talking about that, but like, I don't like the idea you just had where it's like unexpected automatically means better.
No. But in this case, it like, yes, unexpected doesn't necessarily mean automatically better, but in order to do a better story with Superman, something unexpected has to happen, because if nothing unexpected happens, then it's the same story every time. Something bad happens, Superman shows up, overcomes some sort of challenge, whether it's kryptonite or whatever, but he eventually wins and saves the day, and that's it. And so, unless you're breaking from that, it's not really going to be interesting.
But like, and that's the thing why, and that's probably one of the reasons why, like, and I bitched about this before. You guys have heard me when we get into this topic about Superman. Like, and it's like the number one like experience breaking thing that's remained consistent throughout the years. That's one of the reasons why I don't watch Superman stuff anymore. And that is the fact that the shit he overcomes is so fucking benign and stupid.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, when he goes against his fucking one of the guys, Lex Luthor, right?
Right.
Dude, the guy's 6 inches away with kryptonite and nothing, right? When Superman has the ability to fucking finally deal with the guy and he's like 6 feet away, oh, the kryptonite, I can't. It's too close. I'm like, what? Like, and that is such a, and like, for continuity's sake, that is a really, like, just a big time experience breaker for me. And that's one of the reasons why I stopped watching this.
Or even worse is sometimes just being close to kryptonite basically kills Superman, and sometimes all it does is weaken him. Like, which is
exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Not only are the rules fucking fuzzy as fuck, but eventually it gets to the point where there are no rules. Because,
Bro,
like you said,
like,
sometimes if he's within 6 inches, he just dies, and sometimes it's just, oh, well, he can't fly and he's not as strong. And it's like, well, then there's no stakes because we don't know what's going on.
Exactly, dude. It's like, what grade fucking kryptonite was that, dude? Like, is there different grades, maybe? Like,
hold up.
Well,
Are you
that's
guys
one
from
thing.
the whole thing of kryptonite? It can get dumb because real quick, have you guys like are kind of familiar with Supergirl at all, or no?
yeah,
Not really, but
Yeah,
sort
I am a
of,
little bit.
sure.
In the first season of Supergirl, is the only stuff I really kind of checked out when it came to that show. The whole thing was there was a Supergirl or whatever, but there was these kryptonite swords and guns, and I'm like, wait, what? And I'm like, my brain kind of
I
like
think
had
I
to explode
remember
for a minute,
something
and I'm
about
like,
that. Yeah,
it's like, and my whole thing is like, if you can create a kryptonite bullet, why the fuck would you make a kryptonite sword? That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Because you'd be more efficient in taking him out with a kryptonite gun, or Supergirl with a kryptonite gun. Like, you know what I mean?
Right. No, I agree.
And that's the whole thing about kryptonite. The rules of it can get really stupid. Like, oh, we got a kryptonite nuke against.
The
like,
one
what?
thing about kryptonite that always gets me is that kryptonite came from the planet
Krypton. Yeah.
And it just
okay,
to fly everywhere.
So how do all these people get their fucking hands on it?
I'm willing to accept. Like, nah, the plant. Well, okay. One, it's. I don't think it was actually established that Krypton was the only source of kryptonite. Only that it was the most known. Or
have they ever shown them to get kryptonite anywhere other than Krypton?
I don't know. I never really read the comics, so I don't know the lore.
Blue?
Very
I think
well.
Blue kept up with that better. Blue didn't Lex Luthor come up with a way to have a synthetic?
He might.
I'm pretty sure he did.
Did he not?
Yeah.
Like,
I think so.
Superman 1.
I'm pretty sure
Superman 1. What was the god's name that came down and
Zod.
I forgot. Zod. Yeah. That, like, he made sense because he was another god and he was able to come from the outer space.
I mean, the one villain they really messed up though.
It's almost like Elon Musk all of a sudden just coming up with kryptonite. Like.
I mean, the thing about Zod is like,
I get that you have money, but I mean, do you have money to like just go explore a whole other fucking galaxy?
I mean, the whole thing is Zod wasn't very compelling. Also, that Superman movie is kind of shit.
I'm not saying that he was compelling. I'm just saying that that made more sense because he was one from another planet.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I mean, the one villain of Superman's I wish they didn't mess up and actually gave him his own movie was fucking Doomsday. Dude, Doomsday is the fucking goat, dude. And
well, that's the thing. Of the standard type villains for Superman, Doomsday is the best one because his power is unlimited.
Because Doomsday is literally from Krypton, and he's a giant hulking monster. So I'm like, yeah, Superman. Because that's why most stories with Doomsday, Superman dies, even though they did that whole stupid thing in what was it, Batman v Superman. He still died because anytime you have a Doomsday in Superman movie, Superman has to die because Superman can't really beat Doomsday. Except in Injustice, but that's just
I mean, I know we go back into like other superheroes now, but don't you think they kind of made too many superheroes indestructible?
I mean,
like Deadpool, you have Deadpool, Wolverine.
Well, Deadpool doesn't kind of count, right? Because he's the meta superhero. That's the thing, right? He's an anti-hero, but I mean, still, I mean. But not just that. I mean, his whole thing is a parody of the superhero. I mean, he literally understands and comments on the fact that he is a comic book character.
He breaks the fourth wall.
Right.
I mean, still, I mean, don't you think
but yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, Wolverine, Superman.
Right. You made too many of them to where like it requires some unforeseen force to ever actually defeat them. The movies are all basically end up being predictable.
Yeah. I mean, it's part of the problem with the superhero genre. How powerful do you make your superhero? You want them to be powerful because the whole point is that they're not regular people, right? They're doing extraordinary things. But then if you make them too powerful, then they become Superman in the earlier days where he was just can't be beaten and it's boring.
Plot twist: Superman dies of dysentery.
No, he gets COVID.
Right? Superman taken down by the coof.
By the coof.
the kung flu.
Oh no. Yeah,
Oh,
racial slur.
No.
What are you talking about? CNN told me that Kung Fu was a racial slur.
Well, they can go fuck themselves. I don't care what
Oh,
CNN says.
Literally, saying
yeah,
that
CNN could go
reading-
literally get bent.
No, but I'm just making it
reading
like
the
a joke
back
for
of
that.
I know.
But with
reading
that,
know
like,
you
that was
are.
an actual
Box
thing.
Racist CNN.
No, but as soon as I saw it, because he had like Andrew Yang saying the word Kung Flu is a racial slur, and it's like, what? When did that happen?
Invented a racial, like nobody even associated it with y'all, but now all of a sudden, like you're like, well, no, like, hey, we want that racial.
Agreed.
Like, nobody, no, it was just a play on terms with the Kung Fu, but.
Yeah,
It was meant to be a fucking joke, dude, and it like turned into this huge racial thing.
Well, because of course, the media had to like turn it into something.
Don't you know? Trump said also. When did we start talking about comic books? Like that kind of shows why were we talking about comic books?
Why not?
We thought.
Oh yeah, we were talking about the Spider-Man we were talking about the Spider-Man Marvel shit, and then now we went to Superman.
Well, I mean, it all ends up being in the nerd culture with us.
Kind of.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
But
No, what is even on the docket? I didn't even see what you typed in.
Yeah, Persona, I did, and then that was it.
One of the things is China's now using this new name authentication system, not for people's names, but for the names of video games, and they've banned like 15,000 unauthorized video games from their country. So, yeah, fuck China and fuck communists.
Pretty much.
So what you're telling me is Liberty Prime had a point. Okay.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes. Yes.
I think it's weird that we gotta use fucking names for video games, like real names. It's almost like the shit that happened on YouTube years ago. One of the YouTubers I followed was trying to get everybody's fucking social security to sign up for his movement. It was like, it was the Gamers Union. That's right. I'm not sure if you guys were around for that. Yeah, like we had come up with an idea called the Gamers Union, and it was supposed to be something in where, like, we would pretty much tell developers to fuck off if they thought what they thought was a good business practice, right?
But wait,
it was a good idea in theory, but the guy that we let start it was trying to get people's social security numbers and shit. And I was like, bro.
Was he also asking for your, like, hey, can you send me your credit card with the 4 letters?
Dude, he wanted your social security number and he wanted your address.
He was like, nothing to see here. Nothing to see here.
Yeah, there's no nefarious purpose to this, I swear.
All standard practices, don't worry.
No, it was fucking weird, dude. And I told those guys, I was like, yeah, I'm not a part of that, bro. Like, don't put my name on that shit.
Give your social security number to some random guy on YouTube. What are you doing?
You deserve the shit you're about to receive.
You deserve to be robbed.
Like, yeah, it was dumb, dude. I mean, like I said, it was a good idea in theory, but like fucking. But then now China's like, hey, we got our own thing going on over here. You have to participate or we kill you.
Yeah, well, thank God we don't live there.
That is correct.
Fuck China, because they're doing all sorts of silly shit.
Give it time, we're headed there.
Yeah. I'm still hoping we can bring it back.
I know, me too. I think so too, dude.
I think that's a little over dramatic.
It's
really not. It's really not.
That's why I said, is it though? Like, is it really over dramatic? I mean,
we're kind of like in an existential crisis, right? I mean, I know that there's that old ploy that like this election is like the most existential election ever, whatever. But like we're actually getting. Well, no, but we are actually literally getting to the point to where like the boy who cried wolf every time is actually the wolf seer.
Yep.
And that's the scary part is you can only I'm not even bringing up the whole Trump and Biden thing, but you can only hold off. We can only hold this thing off for so long because the nation is always, almost every nation besides China, has naturally shifted left
you know, over the course of the years. And so, I mean, it's just a matter. I mean, we just keep going more and more. Like, you could only vote in. I think unless you just happen to vote in like a conservative for the rest of eternity, you're going to eventually get the far left in charge. And
yeah,
you're not wrong.
I mean, we're just kind of prolonging it, but like everybody thought the Bill of Rights was going to like help us with this whole COVID thing, and you can see they just said screw the Bill of Rights, man. Like, they're cutting off people's power and their water in like a basic human right. In California, simply just for hosting a gathering at your house that they deem too large. Like, they don't even give you the number of people you can have in your house in Los Angeles, but if they deem it too large, they'll cut off your power and your water. Well, they have like that's. You would think that would be illegal.
You would think.
Suck a cack for that. I don't give a fuck.
And then, of course, the Supreme Court, we thought, okay, well, the First Amendment, all this stuff. Well, that church in Nevada sued, like saying, hey, look, like these damn casinos can have 50% capacity, but we're still stuck at 10%. We're they're violating our right. And they're like, the Supreme Court, oh, nah, it's all right. Whatever happened to the damn First Amendment?
First Amendment, Rambo? What the fuck is that, bro?
Yeah, what is this magic you speak of, sir?
You don't know what it is anymore. That's the thing. I know Blue's saying like it's like a little over dramatic, but like it's literally happening here. Like,
no, actually, Blue. So like, what's going on, Blue, is like it's been sort of going on in the U.S. for like I would say like a better part of 20 years now.
Yeah, it's just been slower.
They started in our schools and they modified the history books to not teach certain things about what actually took place. So they've slowly re-rendered everything out of our history books, science, even biology. It's like all of a sudden we could just rewrite books like we did the fucking Bible all of a sudden and pretend like it never fucking happened. They got teachers in our schools now that are saying that the Holocaust was a hoax. That there was no actual evidence. Dude, I'm dead serious, bro.
How does that work? Next thing you're gonna say, yo, guys, no one died in the Soviet
Union. You have teachers that have credentials that abuse that credential, dude, and that's what's going on.
They don't even teach what happened in the Soviet Union.
Nope.
What happened in Stalin and Leninist Russia is so much worse than what happened in Germany. I mean, if you go by the amount of people killed, obviously
they will teach full on about the Nazis and how bad the Nazis, and they actually have turned the Nazis into a far right thing, but the Nazis are actually the exact.
I mean, they're not far left, but yeah, they're left of center for sure. I mean, they were socialists.
They're socialists. I mean, it's in their damn name.
Yeah, National Socialist Workers Party or whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah. But I mean, they teach it that they're far right. I mean, if there was somebody that back in the 80s that said if Russia was ever going to do anything, they would never invade America, but they would invade it through the intellectual side, and they would do it as a slow process by indoctrinating, getting into our school system, and going through one or two generations of kids and teaching them like what they are now.
And just look what we're finding out with China.
Yeah.
Like there was just a Harvard professor who had stake in the or helped set up the Wuhan lab, who was getting checks for $50,000 a month from the Chinese Communist Party. Like, dude, yeah, it's
it's
crazy.
It's been a slow, like these countries like China and Russia have actually have done a slow process in America, because like even Europe still, even Europe still has a stake in Canada. I mean, I know that y'all are like the Hong Kong of Europe.
It's not really wrong.
We're literally the only true free nation, like completely free, and not beholden to a government over like a hierarchy or whatever. Like you
wanted to say an overlord, didn't you?
Yeah, basically. But I mean, like, because we control the government here, and in most other places, the government controls the people.
Do we? I was gonna say, do we, Rambo? Do we?
We don't anymore. We did. Because I mean, that was the thing, is that they've slowly infiltrated into our school system, and they didn't do it overtly, like at the the adult level. They did it with our kids, and we didn't notice it because it was just a little change of, like, the Second Amendment. They basically left out the part after they just basically said it's the right to bear arms for the militia.
Right.
But they never like fully. It's almost like, well, we just cut it down for space purposes. Well, no, you don't cut down the amendments to the Constitution, but they did, and they slowly started doing that and teaching our kids here, like, basically almost communism is, the way to go. And now we have a damn huge communist movement in America.
Yep.
Right.
And
yeah.
I know that you say it's like kind of like a myth or whatever, like, or I guess.
I never said that.
Not a myth. You said, well, I forgot what you said, like an overreaction or whatever.
I said over exaggeration, not a myth, or nothing was happening.
Yeah, no. If anything, it's under exaggerated.
Yes, it's worse than what anybody really actually understands, because we have at least two or three generations of kids that, unless their parents were actually active in their schooling, which most aren't.
Right.
And so we have 2 or 3 generations worth of kids, a good portion of them that have been taught basically that capitalism is the root of all evil, and that's the reason why they're in the situation that they are. But communism or socialism is what would help them out of the situation that they're in.
Oh, wow.
And they never taught them about the horrors of the communism or socialism. I mean, like Venezuela and Russia and Stalin, all those were just like they just weren't done right.
Yep.
And like that wasn't true communism,
Right.
And so it's it's not even just in our like the small educational system. It's in our college as well. Like right now, my son, he's headed off to college on Wednesday, and like part of his curriculum that OSU has done here, Oklahoma State University has done here, is they have to go through diversity training.
Oh God!
And so when I told my son, if they try to make you apologize for being white, just say peace, I'm out, and I'll go. Just come on back home.
Yep.
I said, because fuck that. I said, because you will not apologize for like your skin color. You are not like that. Hell no. And if he doesn't stand up for his damn self, I'll go up there and tell him, like, fuck you, fuck off. I'm the one paying for it.
Right.
I agree.
But they've just incorporated that into. I mean, for God's sake, the African American Museum. Mind you, African American Museum put out a damn thing that said almost everything that's good in the world, hard work, endurance, individualism, freedom of thought, is all whiteness. It's all the white culture, and I'm like going, what?
Right.
Like so. Like you're basically saying that we're white like they put out a white supremacist manifesto.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the white supremacist argument, is that black people are lazy, and like
and the white people created everything.
Right.
And the African American Museum put it out. If that tells you how bad that it is here in America, we're still holding on, and I don't know. I mean, the silent majority is only the silent majority for so long, because most of us that are the silent majority is the older people. And some younger ones, but I mean, you have like I said, a good younger portion that is just straight up communist or socialist. I mean, that's just, and we're eventually the freedom people are eventually going to die off, and if we don't leave enough offspring, and we're not having that many kids here in America, and if we don't leave enough offspring to actually offset the socialist thing, it's going to happen. I mean, we're going to become what we've always. What we actually fought against.
Oh yeah.
It's just a matter of. It's not a matter of if. It's just a matter of when. And I'm hoping it's just not in the next 4 years, because dear God, I at least want to die before it turns into a communist country or a socialist country.
Nah, fuck that shit, Rambo. You better be living through this shit with us, dude. Yeah, fight this shit together, bro.
unless I get in good with the socialist leader, so that way he can like, make sure I get the food and y'all get the rats or whatever. Then
this motherfucker,
right? Sell us out in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I'll be on the podcast eating like an empanada, and y'all be like going, "Oh God, I'm eating my rat, my pet cat." And I got Taco Bell. I'm like,
I mean, in that case, I got plenty of food in that case if we ever get that route.
God.
I mean, it scares me. I don't know. I just that kind of stuff, and then you see it in the culture and like in our gaming culture and our nerd culture, and the culture in America is just changing. So it's just kind of scary to watch.
Rapidly.
Yeah, and it seems like it. Yeah, it's. I guess it was. It's been happening for a while, but I mean, it seems like as far as like us noticing the change, it seems like it's been so damn rapid that it's almost impossible to keep up with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you ain't wrong. But
no, he's not, and that's the scary part, dude. Like, they've been trying to rewrite the Constitution for years. They've been trying to find loopholes to fucking circumvent all of the shit that keeps it from being fucking modified. You know what I mean? Like, and they thought, oh well, we already did it once. We should be able to keep doing it. And it's like, nah. Like, you guys had your heyday once. That's all you get. Shut the fuck up and move on.
Yeah. I mean, I still don't even think that, like, back in the day, like, they should have ever have been allowed to, like,
to modify
the
it?
Constitution. Yeah.
Yeah, they should have never been able to.
The Constitution should have just been left alone the way it was. It was a good document the way it was.
Right on. Yep, I agree.
You're not wrong. But in other censorship news...
Yeah, go ahead.
Amazon on Kindle is starting to remove Japanese light novels and manga from their stores with no reason given.
It's because they don't like competition. Actually, I don't think it's that, but
okay, it's like going what competition? What does that? That doesn't make sense because what?
I don't know what competition, but it's like it's really dumb because it's like they're going after anime for no reason. Also, you look at it as kind of racist because you have a white majority, you have white people going after a minority, so you can actually turn it into a racist.
No, but Japanese aren't the right kind of minorities, so it's okay, Blue.
Yeah, they're not.
Yeah.
Well, fuck shit. You're right. Never mind. I don't know what to do now. You kind of caught me.
Technically, they outnumber us. So I mean.
Well, not Japanese, but.
Oh no, but
China.
Asians, like all together.
China.
Well, how racist of you to include all Asians as the same, Rambo.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I'm sorry. They do have diversity. Let me not put my Joe Biden.
Oh.
They do have diversity of thought. But no, that's the thing is like manga and anime in America has always had some sort of stigma to it.
Oh sure, yeah, you're not wrong about that.
It's stigma from I don't want to sound like. Actually, I'm just gonna say it. It's stigma from normies who just don't understand, and also
mainly the Christian conservatives at the time, but now the left.
Now it's the progressives, where it's like they think, oh, it's too sexual, or like, oh no, this character from I think there's controversy in My Hero Academia. Who's the female character that's with Deku?
Aurora.
Aurora. It was like complaints that she was too sexualized. You have all these complaints like, oh, remember the Goblin Slayer controversy?
Well, and there's so much bullshit with this, because like, coming from people who will sexualize what's the fucking not Ben 10, but what the fuck is that crappy fucking cartoon that they all fucking love, and it's so stupid. Oh, I can't even remember.
Steven Universe.
Steven Universe, yeah, dude, like the. Fucking every one of the fucking fan fiction and fucking
yeah, but that's
fan artists. Well, that's my point. It's like that stuff's okay to sexualize for them,
dude,
but
all I'm saying is
that's an Americanized, kind of an Americanized anime. If you
basically.
Dude, and these people, and here's the thing, there's gonna be more of these controversies with anime, by the way.
Oh yeah.
It's not to bring it up again, because when season 4 happens for Attack on Titan, dude, the amount of shit that's in there, dude, you're gonna have a lot of these progressives go on a tirade about it.
It's the weirdest thing, because I understood the Christian conservative arguments against anime. Not that I agreed with them.
Fucking dumb.
No, I'm not saying that I agreed with them, but
No,
I
but
understood it because
at least they made sense within their paradigm. Yeah.
Yes, it went along with their principles.
Right, because it's not like they had equivalent stuff, you know, Christian conservative cartoons that had the same kind of shit that anime did.
Or at least what a sexualized thing. I mean, they fully believed in morality and like covering yourself up and stuff like that. So I mean, I fully understood like their argument. I didn't agree with it, but I understood their argument. But I don't understand the progressives' argument because it's mainly, well, you're sexualizing the woman, but then also the same argument is the woman should be able to do whatever they want to. With
slut walks are brave and special and you know. Yes, but don't you dare show too many animated titties because that's fucking horrible and oppressive.
Yes, they have no principles to stand on, so that's the reason why it bothers me.
It is kind of a principle, though. The reason it's not the right kind of sexualized woman. They don't want like some they don't want like some super hot character.
They want the fat sexualized woman.
Well, yeah, no, it's two things, right? One of it is that, right? They want their sexualized stuff, and they like it because they're, you know, unattractive and shit. Because the female beauty standard is oppressive. But the other thing is that they don't control Japanese anime, and most, not all, unfortunately, but most of the things surrounding Japanese culture, anime, manga, light novels, all that shit. Those guys all tell Western SJWs to go fuck themselves. It's like, no, we're going to put out our shit, and you guys aren't going to tell us what to do.
I mean, also with anime, the government's involved.
This is our story, and you can just either like it or take it or leave it. They don't give a shit.
So that's probably one of the biggest reason why they're going after it so hard is because they want an end to control. I mean, they've already tried. They've already started infiltrating like places. What was it? Fuck was that studio that does translation and dubbing and shit that was fucking
Funimation?
With Funimation, and they're doing it with another one too, because like, you know, and they're trying real hard to inject, you know, American political issues into non-political, non-American stories.
Well, so Japanese storytelling, which I mean, it makes I don't know I don't know when. We've gotten so far here that progressives have become regressive.
No, they're actually you're saying they're actually kind of racist.
Dude, really they're beyond. They're beyond racist.
They're beyond. I mean, racist is not even.
Doesn't even come close to covering.
No, that's a light word. I mean, like they are full blown. Yeah, they're. But, I don't even know what the word would be for them, but yeah, they're.
No, I just say that it's straight.
It's just weird to me. It's really just weird to me though that because their argument is that you shouldn't like allow draw a character with skimpy clothing or whatever, but then turn around and like praise the woman that's walking butt ass naked through or like what with the naked Athena, the one that. Like sat in front of the cop cars or whatever, naked and spread her legs in front of the cop cars at the riots.
Yep.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, but they like
that was stunning and brave.
Her.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then all of a sudden you draw a cartoon character that has too big of titties, and they're like, oh my god, no, that's gotta be. It makes their arguments are weird.
Or it's also no. Like the even worse one is that like The Witcher 3 is terrible because of all the sex and bullshit. But The Last of Us 2, where homeboy fucking straight up rolls in dry, dude. He didn't spit on it or fucking nothing, dude. He just rams that bitch home. And it was the worst fucking sex scene of all fucking time, and that's fucking stunning. And Brett, look at this masterpiece of The Last of Us 2, where fucking was it Abby that Abby gets railed, bro, just out of nowhere. It's terrible.
Because I think it's more though, because I think it's straight up going up against like it's not really conspiratorial, going up against femininity. Because here's the thing,
it is
like look at Abby.
Well,
I'll give
an
example.
No, it absolutely no. It absolutely is, and
it's not something like that. That is the argument.
That's the perfect example too, because masculinity is terrible unless it's a character like Abby who's totally masculine, and femininity is terrible unless it's a character like some flaming dude who's totally feminine or whatever.
They want to bend the reality of what is a female and what is a male.
Yep.
they've already been doing this. So now, I mean, that's the same thing like what they're doing with Abby and everything else. Is like, if you look at Abby, she's like she was built more than me. Like she was a dude.
Dude, she's as bulky as I was in high school, bro, and I was bulky as fuck in high school.
And she's in the middle of a not a pandemic, but a
apocalypse.
Apocalypse, but somehow she's.
My question is, what is she lifting? How is she? Where is she getting all the food? Because to be built like that, you need to eat a shit ton of calories.
Tons.
So where's all this food coming from? And also, what's she lifting?
Well, there was weights there. They had like a whole gym in the
even weights, like you have to consume when you're jacked like that. You have to consume so much calories.
But that was the thing. That was the thing is when you went as Abby to like the food counter, all you got for the whole day was three burritos, one for each person.
Yeah, how do you? There's no way you can even get jacked. Like at best, Abby should have abs, but like be really
skinny.
No,
she wouldn't even have abs, bro. Oh,
not in that.
What's her name? Who's the kind of sort of feminist YouTuber that rolls on games and stuff? Fuck, Lacey. No, not Lacey. Whatever the other one. She was a model. Fuck, I can't remember her name, but she did a whole fucking video on this, and she went through because there was an entire article that this it had nothing to do with The Last of Us 2, but it was related because this chick was a bodybuilder and was a model of the athletic sort where you would she'd have abs and muscles in the pictures and stuff, and they even fucking like she goes into it to where they can't that chick who spends her whole life working out and fucking making herself into the physical perfection of the female form can't maintain things like abs and stuff other than in a photo shoot where for weeks beforehand she fucking eats the right diet, which is very damaging to her body, and then she's got to dehydrate the shit out of herself so that like her muscle tone shows up like it does in the pictures. Like it's not something that you can maintain normally. It's just not. Even guys can't maintain that stuff normally most of the time.
The bodybuilders in general,
it's not anyone can become a bodybuilder.
If you take a female bodybuilder, like the one that they live and breathe, they follow their diet to lift, they follow their diet to
diet is
get gains.
And it's not apocalypse. I'm just
saying even if you take that girl and you put her in show form, whenever she has the oil on her and she's doing that, she's still not as buff and cut as what Abby was.
Not even the buffness, right? Not even the buffness. They were fucking
broad shoulders.
Broad shoulders, a wide waist, thick neck.
They took a drawing of a man.
Yep.
And gave him some feminine
characteristics.
Characteristics and called it a female.
Yep.
And they're doing this to they say it's not an agenda, but it's to basically normalize and bend the lines between what we know is true and what we know is not true. Like as far as males are males, females are females. And because right now they're arguing 2 + 2 is 5.
Yep.
No, because the reason why
and if you look at the Nazi handbook, in the 1984 handbook, it says that what they will do is they will do everything that tells you that is 100% truth and there's actually fact behind it, and bend it to where you start questioning everything.
Yep.
And so therefore there's no more truth in the world, and so that's what they're doing now into our medium, and that's how they're basically propagandizing.
I mean, to take it
every
back
sort of medium that we have.
I mean, to take it back to anime real quick, even the most muscular chicks in anime are still more feminine than Abby.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's
like,
because
even like there's some people who get mad about
Japan hasn't fallen into this weird dichotomy that we're in.
Because here's the thing, like even like someone like Mikasa, who's jacked and like has muscles, she still looks like a woman. Versus Abby, where I swear to God, if I had no context and I just saw that scene where Abby was beating the shit out of Joel with a golf club and she was standing up straight and all that stuff, I'm not even joking. If I didn't know the context of that scene or didn't know who Abby was, I would have thought that was a dude.
Oh, dude, if she didn't have a head, everybody would think it's a dude.
I swear to God, I'm not even saying this like to. Oh man, it's hard to trap. I'm entering a trap here for this.
Yeah, it's.
No, but you may. No, I get what you're saying though, Blue.
But that's just that's the thing that bothers me about like our medium here in the video games and stuff is that they're doing it very subtly, and obviously then if you say anything about Abby, well then you all of a sudden are becoming.
No, the worst part is when you say something about Abby. I had a guy on Reddit send me a fucking like in DMs, send me a picture of top female bodybuilders to say, oh, Abby could exist, and just send me a bunch of top female bodybuilders, and I'm just like. I think my brain wanted to jump out of my skull watching this guy try to justify Abby.
Even if you wanted to go that route, okay, sure. If you wanted to say the top female bodybuilder looks like that.
Because a lot of these people are ignorant to bodybuilding because people think bodybuilding is just working out. Bodybuilding is more than just working out. There's so much other shit that goes into it. Like you have to what you eat. Your routine, and then just like because what you eat is so important.
You also have the top female bodybuilder that he's sending you pictures of isn't going through a damn
Come on, we gotta go to Nana's.
zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, because here's the thing: in the zombie apocalypse, there's no way inhumanly possible unless you somehow live in like I don't know, like a food factory.
And maybe an animal enriched area. Maybe.
But even with that, you'd have to consume at least like 2,000 or more calories to maintain a huge body like that. And I'm thinking even
dude, 2,000, bro. Dude, my calorie requirements when I was in high school was 4,500 a day, and I was 5'11", 210 pounds. I was not. I mean, I was bulky, but I wasn't ripped.
And can we say
is like what they kind of recommend for a daily allowance?
And can we say you can't exactly dirty bulk in an apocalypse? I'm just throwing that out there.
You really can't. Like you can even ignore like because you can lift weights. Like I like that's not bothering me. The whole thing about there's no way you can get that big without consuming a certain amount of food. Like because here's the thing, a lot of these people just like I mentioned this before, but it's like you're ignorant to how like bodybuilding actually works. Like it's not just you lift weights for a head.
Right.
Like there's like what you eat is important. There's no way that Abby would eat like 3,000 to 4,000 calories a day in a zombie apocalypse, where at best you get 3 burritos or whatever, per a day. By the way, like at best, combine all 3 of those burritos, maybe makes like 1,500 calories, maybe.
Well, anyway,
there's no way that there would ever be that much food available for one person to eat.
Yeah, because in the zombie apocalypse, realistically, everyone would be super.
Like. Okay, all got quiet.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's all a bunch. Like it's unrealistic in so many ways. That's the thing, right? It's not like all of it is bullshit, and they try and play it off like. Oh, yeah, I don't even want to get into it because it's so fucking stupid and crazy.
In the apocalypse, there's no way you're, like, realistically, everyone's about as skinny to the bone. Like,
it's not even that. But like I said, that's not even the worst part of it. The worst part of it is that, dude, men can't maintain figures like that all the time. Like, those pictures of guys with ripped abs and cut and muscle and all that, they can't maintain that 100% of the time. That is photo shoot type shit. That they can only do it for a few days and then they go back to being yeah, exactly. Like so, and that's guys, like the most bodybuilder of all bodybuilder guys that can't do that 100% of the time, let alone the women. So it's like I said, it's stupid in so many ways. It's not even funny, but they try and play it off like, oh no, it's totally possible because here's this picture of this chick and she no, dude, come on, get out of here, stop it. That's the thing.
Stop the nonsense.
And if they had just admitted that, because we all know, most guys are not Solid fucking Snake or Marcus, whatever the fuck he is from Gears of War, right? There's unrealistic bodies in gaming for sure, but we know that and we admit that. It's like, yeah, Marcus is not realistic, but we don't try and go around pretending that any guy in the zombie apocalypse could be that fucking cut, Well,
that's. The whole every character in Gears of War is unrealistic.
Hold up, I'll be BRB.
Whereas the characters in The Last of Us were kind of made to be realistic, like where they could exist, because nobody's gonna have any of the body type like any of the people in Gears of War ever.
Yeah.
And the only way that Abby would ever be able to get to where she was in the zombie apocalypse is through steroids, and I don't know where the hell you're going to get enough steroids to last you through an entire apocalypse.
Very true.
But yeah, it's a bunch of bullshit. Fucking stupid, you know. But what are you gonna do, right? It's not buy the game. That's why I'm never gonna buy these games.
Dude, I am never gonna buy the game. I'm never gonna play it, bro.
Well, now that I see like what they've done with it, because I had to complete my journey with it, but if they have another one, I won't buy the next one. I really don't care what happens, but Ellie and all them after that.
And it's too bad too, because that's honestly their backup plan, right? Like their plan A is to get the propaganda into a game and convert as many people as they possibly can. Think, oh yeah, you could totally look like this as a woman. But plan B is to destroy as many properties as they can that people like, so that they can try and get their properties to be the ones that people go for, which, you know, of course is never going to happen because people hate this shit. But, you know, that doesn't stop them from trying. Right. So, you know, it's a lose-lose either way, right? And it's fucking, it sucks.
And they are counting on, like, they know that they're going to piss off people with this whole propaganda.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because it's subtle to some people, but like the people that are like us that are kind of like awake and understand what's going on, it's not subtle. It's out there in the open. But the thing is, they're counting on the core fan base still like to be able to support it enough to where they can like normalize it, to where they can say, okay, well, we can use this property because we have a big enough fan base that will just buy it.
Yeah.
We can, you know, incorporate whatever we want in there. They're trying to use the popular franchises in order to do that, instead of just creating their own game, because they know if they created their own game, nobody. I mean, there would only be a handful of people that bought it simply because they're feeding into their own personal propaganda thing. So they're counting on us, the hardcore fans, to just go, oh,
yeah, to subsidize it.
There's a game by Naughty Dog, so. And then they have the freedom to go and do whatever they want to with that property.
Yep.
It sucks.
I think it's just weird that like this shit has seeped into our game so bad that we can't get it out. There's like no going back. Like, what developer and publisher decided to roll over on that decision? You know what I mean? Like, hey, like who decided this was a good idea? Let's talk.
Us.
I think if you would have had a different, if games media would have been actual games media, not activist media.
Yep.
I think
this would have turned out way different.
Yes, because it wouldn't have got the raving reviews that it did and stuff like that, and then it would have forced like Sony's hand, or it would have forced like whoever's hand, like whatever publisher at the point, to say, okay, no, we're not doing that. Like we're not giving you just free reign to do whatever. You're not injecting that crap. But the problem is that we have the game makers, the developers know they have and the publishers as well know they actually have a activist-based media, and that's who they have to please, because they know that if they get a high rating in the media, well, then that usually turns into great sales. So they're not. These game companies really aren't trying to please. Yes, they are trying to please the gamer to a degree, but they're mainly trying to please that activist base that gives them the scores, because that's what they basically end up getting paid off of. Because I think Bethesda and a couple other ones have came out, like I think the quartering has shown to where like they get their pay rate is based on the Metacritic score. So I mean, if your thing's based on the Metacritic score, who are you going to try to please, the gamer or the games journalist.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping eventually we'll get back to a normal, some sense of normal, like maybe a shift to the left because we always do, but some sense of normalcy to where it's not so far out there.
It will eventually. Like I said, this shit happens in cycles, and it can't keep going. Like, you know, you can only make these flops so often before your company just goes under. So either the companies do start going under, or they have to right the ship. It happens always.
I mean, here's the thing: we're gonna all these projects, these kind of woke projects you're talking about. A lot of them are already pre-made a couple of years ago.
Well, sure, but like that's why it's so. That's why it's so the consequences are so delayed, right? Because you know, one of these projects fails, and if there was a shorter time span for this stuff, then the changes would start happening really right away. But yeah, there's still a decade of other projects that they're not just going to drop them because they put too much money into them already. So then those come out and those fail hard, and you know, it's a long time before
it's gonna
a change takes place within a company. Yeah, sure, but it still happens eventually.
It's gonna happen. But I'm saying, just if you think like in the next 5 years, you'll stop seeing these kind of woke.
Oh no, you won't.
Hollywood projects, or even in games, it's not gonna go away for a while.
No, but hey,
because games take so long to make.
Sure, and movies too, right? That's the thing.
Yeah, same thing.
But
yeah, movies too.
We've already seen a whole bunch of pretty like hard left turns from some of these studios, both movies, games, whatever, where, you know, I'm trying to think of a really good example. Well, like a really good example would be the MCU, where, you know, they were betting everything on fucking Captain Marvel, and then Endgame had hardly any Captain Marvel whatsoever. Right? Yeah. Now, obviously, that was a decision that they could make quickly, right? It's not like they completely dropped the Endgame or anything. No, they just cut out a bunch of footage that they had shot of Captain Marvel in Endgame and, you know, rewrote a few things around it. But still, that's a pretty hard left turn. I mean, from what I've heard from a lot of sources, is that Captain Marvel was supposed to be like one of the biggest characters in Endgame. So it's not like it doesn't happen. It's just really delayed, especially on. It's.
Well, I can see that, but movies are easier to do that with than games are.
Absolutely.
Because like you can shoot a couple of different shots and fit it in.
Or even not. Yeah, a lot of times they'll shoot several different endings or different you know, storylines, and all they got to do is just go back to the chopping room floor and cut a few scenes out and put a few scenes in, and all of a sudden you've got a completely different movie. Yeah, it's not the same way with a game.
Or if they have to, I mean, they can simply just call a couple of actors back in and just simply
reshoots or something like that.
The small little area. But a game is, since it's all done with animation and motion cap,
right?
Like it's too much to like rewrite
it's definitely a lot more difficult. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it can be done, obviously, but the release cycle, especially with these big games, like they have to get them out because they can't put that big game that's supposed to come out and put them on the back burner for another year or two.
Well, yeah, it's another thing that's unique to games is that gaming technology advances very quickly, whereas movie technology really doesn't. You know, it's not like it's not like special effects have gotten better in the same way that 3D modeling and stuff has. You know, over the last decade or so, special effects have pretty much stayed the same. Whereas, you know, the differences between a game today and a game 10 or 15 years ago is fucking night and day, and even more back beyond that. So releasing a game later is a way harder of a challenge than releasing a movie later, because it's not like, you know, if you release a movie a year late, it's not like you could have done any better with I mean, you could have maybe, but it's not like you would have been able to do much better with anything like the special effects or anything like that.
Right.
So, you know, yeah, it's different media have different problems, so that's...
It's definitely going to be a slow burn for us to get back to normal in gaming.
Yeah. Although it's easier to get into, it's easier to do indie stuff with gaming, right?
Well, yeah, because indie doesn't have that same budget time frame. Like because I read that somewhere, I forgot where I did, but like say like if a Call of Duty, like we know it releases like what, October, November every year.
Yeah, summer.
But if they like that big budget title, if they don't release it that year, then every month like they're losing like a ton of money every single month that it doesn't release. So an indie doesn't actually have that sort of problem because like they build their game with the money, like their money, like it's either it's going to be the cost no matter what it is, and they don't stand the chance of losing cost by not releasing it at a certain time, so they can change and do whatever they need to on their portion. Whereas a big company, like they can't afford to delay anything.
Yeah.
It's like they have a weird thing like the big I don't really understand how it. I guess it loses like forecasted money, like because Call of Duty always brings in millions. So I mean, I guess that's how they're losing money, but an indie doesn't have that problem because nobody's like anticipating on their with pre-orders for a bunch of indie.
Correct. Yeah.
Yep.
And that's one thing I guess that like really hasn't. I mean, we've had a few developers in the indie market, go woke or broke type situation. So I guess like in hindsight, like at least I'm thankful for that. You know what I mean? It's like one or two developers here. That's not that big of a deal. But when you have an entire industry set of leaders who all of a sudden became fucking woke overnight because they're latching themselves onto the next biggest trend, you know what I mean? It kind of like puts a sour taste in your mouth.
Yep.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
And that's
what's weird is that these companies.
Sorry, go ahead.
These companies have taken Twitter as some sort of like
end all be all.
The temperature of the actual world. It's like
Twitter's not a good marketplace for it.
Yeah, but it's weird because it does like Twitter. I think they said 4% of Americans are on Twitter, or 4% of the world is on Twitter, and 2% of that 4% is actually what makes up 80% of the tweets.
Sure.
So, like, there's a big core group of people that just tweet a ton. And
Twitter's not a good market indicator.
Well, but that's you're assuming that there is a good market indicator, which there isn't.
Yeah, because you have these numbers that are replying to you like in droves. That you're thinking, well, everybody must want this because I'm getting all these replies, but it's really just a small little tiny subsection of the world. And but I don't understand like why these companies, any company, is taking Twitter as some sort of temperature gauge. Even politics are. And it's really weird. It's just really weird to see how Twitter has shaped society and mediums all around, like movies, games, everything. I don't know, Twitter's like a cesspool.
I mean, Twitter sucks. Also, that's why someone's political campaign kind of went down in shreds. Because when you only use Twitter, when you try to do Twitter politics in the real world, like a certain someone in America, I'm not gonna say the name. Turns out it doesn't actually work out. Turns out.
No. Well, because Twitter's not a gauge of what the American people or what the world thinks. I mean, I can't.
Twitter's not a gauge of anything.
It's not. No, it's a.
You talk to these analysts, they'll tell you otherwise, sir.
What do you mean? Twitter's not a gauge of anything. Anyone.
You and me know that. I'm just saying there are actual analysts out there that believe that Twitter is a justifiable gauge of measurement for political and religious beliefs and disbeliefs.
Well, even Facebook, because I'm pretty sure, is Facebook bigger than Twitter? Or
yeah, Facebook's bigger than Twitter.
Even Facebook's not even a good indicator.
Well, that's again, there is no good indicator.
Way better.
We only have bad indicators. So.
Yeah. Well, if you look at Facebook, I mean, the reason why Facebook's not as influential in the thing is because
you're cutting out, Rambo.
Yeah, you're cutting out, Rambo.
Content. Oh, am I don't know. I'm on the road, so. But Facebook has built a algorithm to feed you your echo chamber, and Twitter is you get to make your echo chamber. So I mean, I think Twitter has become more influential than Facebook, even though Facebook is a larger company.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also Twitter's just a shithole. Like,
Oh, yeah,
I think one of the best blessings I ever had was getting suspended on Twitter. Like, getting suspended on Twitter 4 or 5 years ago turned out to be a blessing. Because I couldn't imagine being on Twitter right now with the cesspool garbage has become.
I honestly would not care if, what's it called, if, like, Trump came out and said we're banning Twitter. I'd be like, all right, cool.
I'd be like,
probably one of the
darn!
best things. Yeah, it'd be probably one of the best things that ever happened to America.
Maybe.
Well, when you have a cesspool of CEOs that have literally like lied to the media about controlling free speech, and then escape to their platform, only to then just admit that they were censoring free speech.
Jack Dorsey.
I didn't mention his name. I don't know who you're talking about.
No, good dude. He had what was his name? Jack Dorsey. Going after Mark Zuckerberg because Mark Zuckerberg said, I think to Congress or whoever, that he doesn't want to be the arbiter of speech and control speech, and that this is over the whole political campaign controversy thing. You guys remember that? Yeah. And he said, like, I don't want to be the one who arbitrates what's true or what's not. I'm just gonna host ads or whatever. And he had Jack Dorsey be like, you're not being the arbitrary or whatever it's called. You're just dictating what ads can pop up on your platform. It's like, what? Like, what the fuck?
Well, I just like
Jack Dorsey needs to pull his dick out of his ass.
Literally,
dude.
no, because Jack, honestly, like, I'll defend Facebook, regardless of how much of a shithole I think it is, over Twitter. Facebook can't be redeemed. Twitter is complete garbage.
Facebook has changed to the same thing because they actually banned the Trump campaign and they said that it was a mistake. But over a stupid coronavirus ad. So I mean, it's the same. Like, what I don't understand is like.
Even with that though, like there is that, like, which is bad by the way, but even with that, Twitter goes far beyond that. That's the thing. Twitter goes far beyond that. Only doing, like, here's the thing, like if Twitter wants to quote unquote like do fact checks that end up being wrong later on about Trump, that's fine. But they only apply it to Trump, and that's why it's bad. Like, it's not applied to anyone else.
I don't think they should be in the job of fact checking anybody.
Like, yeah, me neither.
No, I don't even think. I don't. They don't.
They shouldn't. But I'm saying,
Dude,
even if they are,
they
it should be applied to everyone or no one. That's how it should be.
No, they shouldn't. They're fact checking humorous memes. Yeah. Like straight up parody or you know, like Trump's head on Chuck Norris's body or something like that. And I'll see a thing. It's like, our fact checkers have determined this isn't true. It's like, no shit. Really? Like,
nothing got past you, Chief.
Trump never roundhouse kicked a ninja into a wall. Like, you don't fucking say. God. Like, oh my God, it's so ridiculous.
I'm like going, wait, Trump was Trump's not Rambo? Like, I could have swore Trump was Rambo.
Right? Yeah.
Rainbow Last Blood. I remember that shit.
Exactly. Fuck.
No, but like, if they're gonna do it,
which
they're probably gonna do it, I think it should be everyone gets under the fact checking Gestapo or no one, because
they'll never do it fairly ever.
Well, the problem is that the people that are fact checking are the ones that are against, like the Washington Post and all. They're the ones that are fact checking.
Yep.
Yeah, because here's the thing: Twitter is fact checkers.
Read their stories, and you already know that they don't even fact check them damn selves.
No, because the fact check was wrong. Because I think when they went after one of Trump's tweets, or I can't remember. This is the last time I paid attention to the whole fact checking controversy. They went after his tweet saying it's factually and wrong, and because they fact checked it, but then it turns out the fact check was wrong.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that happens all the time, bro. There's a bunch of fucking shit on like Snopes and PolitiFact and all that, where they just straight up say things that are not true, or they twist it. Or
they completely change the argument of what was even said.
Yep. All the time. There's tons of examples. It's total bullshit. Yeah, it's
like somebody needs to fact check the fact checkers. Like that's what really needs to happen.
And that's the thing. And who fact checks them? And then who facts it? It never fucking ends.
And then it's just like that's the reason why I don't think that fact checking should even be a thing, because like you should, first of all, I mean, to sign up for any of these social media platforms, technically you have to be usually of the age of the majority,
or at least like 13 to 15.
Yeah. So I mean, when it comes to that, like to me, like you should at least be like just allow the information to be out there, and then you get to determine, or you get to decide whether it's true to you or not, or whatever.
Well, that's the thing. They don't want people to do that.
You let people. Don't want any free thinkers.
No, of course not.
No, because they're doing it. I mean, all this is about is to influence the election, even though Jack Dorsey denies it blatantly. It's,
well, that's exactly what it said. But what's funny though is like this woman, I forgot. I talked to her whenever I used to work at this other place, and I was like, we were talking about Trump, and I was like, you know, I was like the news is what's causing half of this problem with this whole these riots and stuff, because they're feeding lies to people. And they were like, well, before Trump, there was never fake news, and I'm like,
oh my God,
yeah,
God.
No, every liberal Democrat has told me that, and I'm like, where are you guys pulling this out of your asses
what
from, bro?
Fucking fantasy world have you been fucking living in?
Have you been locked under a rock under Mordor? Like, where you been?
Well, my thought is like, so all of a sudden, as soon as Trump became president, these news companies started. These news companies started lying to you in 2016. Like they just decided, okay, well now we're gonna start lying.
Yeah, we're not gonna be truthful anymore. Yeah, right now.
My personal favorite is Trump. Trump for a long time.
Cognitive dissonance on that is just hard.
No, my favorite one is Trump being a lifelong Democrat for a long time, and now all of a sudden he's a brutal, vicious, evil racist because he ran for president as a Republican. It's like, Jesus Christ, guys. Yeah, I mean, that's my favorite of all of them. It's like he's been a Democrat all his life.
He is a Democrat. I mean,
basically. Well, but that's the whole thing.
A classical liberal. He's a classical liberal.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. The left has gone so far to the left that now Democrats seem like original Democrats from 20 years ago seem like conservatives.
Yeah.
Personal favorite is
the Overton window has shifted way too much.
Oh yeah.
My personal favorite is Nancy Pelosi's now moderate. It's like, man, what a time to be alive.
Oh my God. Yeah.
What a time.
I mean, your doctor's appointments when?
I don't know. I still don't understand how people go past that ballot.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
It sounds like that. That just shows me how many stupid people are in America.
Okay.
Not wrong.
Like you look at Congress and you can tell how many stupid people are in America. Like just by the people that they.
Yeah.
Yeah, and these are supposed to be people questioning fucking. I think the greatest example of a clown show was Congress talking to Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh yeah.
That was the greatest clown show I ever saw in my life.
Yeah, but second greatest was watching Mark Zuckerberg try to pretend to be a human. That was great. But Congress questioning him, that was good too.
Huh?
Dude, you know that chair he was sitting on? That was actually his lithium-ion battery that he used to charge up whenever he was sitting there trying to talk to Congress.
But yeah, I don't know, man. This shit, it's getting tiring. I'm so sick of it. I just don't care anymore.
Satirical.
Like I said, just let me know when the boogaloo happens. That's it. I've washed my hands of the whole goddamn thing.
According to her, she won't be here for a while, so.
Just tell me when to grab my shotgun, and we're good. So.
Huh?
But so now, so for the last thing,
Wait,
Polygon just put out an article saying that we need more black and white morality in video games because gray morality or like villains who are understandable villains or villains with a tragic backstory will lead to fascism and Nazism and shit like that.
Yeah, I guess I can see why now a lot of these guys hate fucking Fallout New Vegas. Jesus. Gray morality doesn't exist.
Gray morality, huh? That's a thing?
No, it's like you need more black. Like, what does he mean? Like, because even like were they using Last of Us as an example of black and white morality?
Actually, yes, which is the hilarious part.
The second game, dude. I mean, it kind of is because Abby is the villain. I don't care what anyone says. Abby is the villain. But the only difference is the Neil Druckmann wanted to fuck the villain, so that's why he put himself in the game as well.
Well, I think the black and white morality goes into the same narrative as the indoctrination and the bending of reality.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Because they want to control what is good and what is bad.
Yeah, they don't want people thinking for themselves. And free thinkers are a danger to control. Like, you can't control free thinkers, so.
The article,
but it's not just that though. A whole bunch of the theory of theirs is that there is always a good and a bad, right? And it's 100%.
It's never a dichotomy.
And that's the thing. Regular people know there's always gray areas. Like, humanity and the situations we find ourselves in are fucking messy. And so not everything can possibly be black and white. It's just not possible. But to them, no, everything, there has to be an absolute bad guy and an absolute good guy. Because they want to be the absolute good guy. So
well, it also goes back to their way of thinking of Antifa is that it says, since the name says anti-fascist, and that has to be exactly what they mean.
Right. And even more than that, it's the ends justify the means, where Antifa is on the side of good, so anything they do that's bad is acceptable because it's in the service of a greater good.
Some of the dumbest shit I've ever heard, bro.
Oh, dude, it's God, it's so fucking retarded. And again, Sophia Narwitz did a video on this, and she didn't talk a whole lot about the actual article because she wanted to talk more about the principles and the ideas behind it. But one of the really good comments she made was that shit, I just forgot what I was gonna say that she said. Damn it. Fucking.
I wish I could help you, man.
Too much weed.
I don't read their articles. I don't read their articles unless somebody sends me like an archive link because I don't want any sort of give them any sort of traffic.
Fuck. Yeah, total brain fart, and it's probably the weed's fault. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, so her comment was that the beyond the point of the article, like the point of the article was stupid in and of itself for some of the reasons we just discussed, but one of the more interesting things about the article was that the article shows, ironically enough, in black and white, that they want to use video games as a tool of social change, like social indoctrination, just like with everything else. And it's absolutely true. It's like they want 100% black and white morality, and they want to control which is the good side and which is the bad side at all times and in all forms, so that they can try and condition people to think this is good, that is bad, and it's always that way.
And it's funny because anytime you ask these people, like back when I was working at Lowe's, and my coworker, he came out to me as a huge socialist Democrat. I asked him, I'm like, you're for all this manipulation in the education system. You're for the manipulation in video games and movies and all forms of media, right? I said, name me one country that being full socialist worked in. He could not name one.
Well, yeah, their example is always Venezuela, or now that that's failed, it's one of the Scandinavian countries, which aren't really.
Exactly.
Yeah,
They're not socialist at all. I mean, I've talked about Canada, how politics is in Canada. People think Canada has some high corporate tax, or all these Scandinavian countries have like a high corporate tax.
Yeah, it's lower in the U.S. actually.
Yeah, because a lot of people just don't understand. Because I've seen like socialists like when they stream on Twitch, like they stream and all that stuff. They always talk about, in theory, or whenever they bring up any of, like, my country, Canada, for example, they bring up vague examples without really going into depth anything about it because they doubt they don't know. I don't think they don't know the tax for how much people get taxed in Canada. Like, a lot of people just bring up those examples and then ignore the fact of how free market Canada is. Also, how strict our immigration system is, by the way. Because I think it's easier to get into the U.S. than Canada.
Yep. It is.
But they don't bring it up. None of them mention that at all because it goes against the narrative that if you want a welfare socialist kind of like system, you're gonna need strict immigration and lower tax or corporate tax rates while taxing everyone else really high. They ignore that fact, even though that's how it actually works in these countries, like Canada, Norway, and all that stuff. And also, Norway has a giant fucking oil reserve for money as well. So.
Well, not to mention, like, Norway, they say they're socialist, but, like, they operate on more of the same principalities that the U.S. operates on with capitalism.
Yeah.
So it's like, are they really socialist, or are they a version of socialist? Because that's where everybody gets their shit mixed up. And it's like, no, I'm like, yeah, go ahead and use Norway if you want, but you're just comparing literally two different countries that are ran almost completely identically on capitalist principle. Because, like, most of the socialists I talked to, like this guy, like, he was straight up, like, trying to abolish capitalism altogether. And I said, that's kind of funny how you want to, because I knew this guy had money saved up. I'm like, you do realize that if you abolish capitalism, your children will not have a future. That is a fact. That's not an opinion. That's a fucking fact. It's been studied. It's been looked into time and time again. The numbers don't add up, Chief, and this is not the way it's going to work.
Also, the idea of abolishing capitalism, Sweden already was trying to do that, completely failed, and elected their version of right-wingers to fix their shit to where they are right now, back in the 80s. So, a lot of people don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Agreed, my man, agreed.
When they say abolish capitalism, and say, oh, Sweden, they tried doing it, yeah, but they also elected a right-winger after that who had to fix everything and make Sweden into what it is right now. So, like, what are you talking about?
Yep. It's just fucking stupidity, dude. Like, I don't think anybody knows what the fuck they're talking about when it comes to this shit, bro. Just all straight up fucking nonsense, dude. It's like, you got these armchair fucking economists telling everybody, oh yeah, socialists will totally work in a capitalist nation. But, like, they like to ignore all the hard factual data that involves bubble bursting in almost every major fucking industry in the United States. How the real estate market would literally tank again and not even come back for at least almost 20 years is what they were suggesting. Like, I mean, there's plenty of fucking data on this shit. And it's funny because when you throw this data at them, they fucking ignore you. They act like you don't know what you're talking about, right? But when you have an opinion against theirs, they want to pull from the same information pool that you pulled from and expect you to take them seriously. Ain't that some shit?
Yeah, also, if you try to talk to Americans, a lot of times about, like just your average American talk about, like, high upping taxes, like lowering corporate tax, which they'll probably be fine with, but, like, upping taxes if you make, like, 65,000 or more, upping taxes to, like, at least 50%. Most Americans absolutely oppose that.
Oh yeah,
just flat out, just by sheer polling number. That's why when you say Medicare for all, you have an insanely high poll data, but when you actually say Medicare for all, but you actually specify shit, like you actually give specifications on what Medicare for all actually is, they straight up ignore it. Or not straight up ignore it, but they straight up, the polling for it goes down.
Oh yeah, it fucking plummets because nobody wants to pay the extra cost. They hear for all, right? That's the key word, for all. They hear that and they're like immediately going, that's a good idea. And then you go, well, this is what's going to have to happen.
Yeah, this is how much it's going to cost.
We're going to have increased taxes on our imports and exports. We're going to have stricter tariffs on our foreign nations that we don't have tax treaties with. we're also going to have to take the bottom line of any sort of real estate company and any capitalist nation, for this matter, that does this, and increase that tax on sales tax by at least 30%. We're going to have to take the individual tax, that you're already paying sometimes 25 to 30, and bump that up to 60%
or more,
because we have a debt. We still need to worry about.
Yeah, like, national debt isn't going around or going away.
Yeah, dude, exactly. And the amount of money that just keeps stacking onto this, dude. By the time you get your paycheck, say you make a gross amount before taxes is about $2,000. By the time those taxes are done, you are barely taking home $400. Tell me that ain't some fucked up shit. And then your employer's telling you, well, aren't we paying you enough? It's like, according to your tax bracket, nah, bitch, you're not paying me shit. I'm back to minimum wage in the 80s. I'm making $0.25 an hour. Shit.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, it's just all these people. I just wish they would stop bringing up Canada, because Canada is always like every time they bring up Canada, it's always like even if you bring up Trudeau, Canada's the opposite of what they make it out to be every single time.
Yeah, well, same thing with Nordic countries, like, yeah.
And also, even just talking about the issue, like immigration, those like in Canada and even all those Nordic countries is really strict, and a lot of people want to do all these big spending programs while having an open immigration system practically, which will not work. They're not compatible.
Oh yeah, it's the opposite of compatible.
Like I'll even give an example. You know how the refugee crisis Canada took in a bunch of refugees?
Right.
Even then, we didn't take in a whole amount. Like here's like Germany took in more than us.
Yeah.
And even the amount that we took in, I think it was like 9,000 to 10,000 refugees we took into Canada. Our country actually ended up suffering a little bit in terms of actual like net income.
Bro,
and
remember
profits.
when Obama signed an executive order saying that we had to take in all those Syrian refugees? No, was it Syrian?
Syrian, I believe, yeah.
Syrian refugees because we fucked them. Remember that? Dude, our fucking economy bottomed the fuck out, dude, when that happened. And everybody's like, oh no, we were fine, we were good. Explain that to all the price inflations that we had on every single fucking level. Every market fucking had an issue.
Yep.
And that's not even including the debt that we accrued for doing that.
Yep.
And remember all the attacks from these people when they first came in? We had bombings in Boston?
Yep.
Like, who the fuck bombs Boston, dude?
And shootings in California and fucking Texas and a bunch of other states.
The Texas knifing? Remember the knifing shit where that fucking chick was going around with a burqa on and fucking slicing and dicing away, dude? Like, I'm like, dude, like, nobody saw this coming? Nobody saw this coming.
We saw it coming. We told them about it. They just didn't want to fucking,
No, they chalked it up to us just being paranoid, remember? Like, we were just being tinfoil hat wearing rednecks.
Yep.
Paranoid,
we were being racist.
Just like the slippery slope is a fucking fallacy. Like, yeah, I remember that one. Pepperidge Farm remembers that one.
The slippery slope fallacy, I think we're beyond like the slippery slope. I think the slope's gone.
Oh, dude, we're already off the cliff, bro. Like the slope was way back when, bro. We're off the cliff now.
Oh, by the way, all the refugees that Germany took in made Germany suffer immensely.
Oh yeah. Oh, dude,
don't mention that.
France.
That's why
France is fucking. France is thrashed right now. You know.
Bro, like our country has officially gone to that point where like not only is that slope gone, but the pit we fall into is now a justifiable Sarlacc pit that exists in our universe and has purpose, okay? Like, it's ridiculous, dude. And you're right. Like, I mean, like, and then when Canada had its issues with that guy shooting up Parliament, you remember that, right, Blue? Like,
I remember that shit. Shit was everywhere. Really.
And everybody was like, oh, Trudeau was such a nice guy letting all these people come in. Funny how that guy just all of a sudden starts shooting up Parliament out of fucking nowhere. You guys haven't had a single crime like that in I don't know how long.
That, and also, is like a lot of these areas that, like a lot of it, because people think it's not a big deal to take 9,000 or 10,000 people that you don't even know if they will assimilate or not, even though it's a massive big deal. I think that's the most immigration has ever happened in Canada in quite a long time in terms of a mass immigration.
Sure, and that's the number one thing for me. Is like, I don't care if you're an immigrant in my country. Fuck, welcome on in. That's the whole point. That's what this country was built on, right? But if you don't fucking play nice with us, we don't fucking have to house you. Like, if you want to shoot my people in my country or maim, torture, and kill people, get the fuck out. You don't belong here. But for the rest of that group, hey, if you want to come on in, you want to help us out, we'll help you out. You'll get a job. You may even get a career. Build yourself up like any other American citizen. And guess what? No harm, no foul. You're part of us. Welcome to the family. I'm okay with that.
Now thinking about it, by the way, I think Canada, we sent it all. I think Europe's the only country that really suffered through the refugee crisis hard because Canada sent everything to them.
Italy went through a shooting and France went through a shooting in the same fucking year, dude. And then France all of a sudden got fucking car bombs. Like, what?
And trucks of peace and fucking mass stabbings. Oh yeah, dude, it's all fucking bad.
I'm like, dude, like, who's fucking with France like that, dude? Like, what the fuck did France and Italy do?
Much? And also, I like how they sent them to all the rich parts of Europe. They didn't send them to any of the poor parts of Europe that suffered under communism.
I guess the best part about Italy's situation was, guess what? They got over 300 years of generational mob bosses there that they were able to stamp that shit out quick. Like, yo, you're gonna blow up a few of our shit, we're gonna massacre your entire fucking family.
Jesus.
Done.
Godfather style, yo.
But that's how it is, though.
So
like,
straight up.
Dude, like, yeah, have you heard anything about Italy shootings at all recently?
Nope.
I haven't. That shit got stomped out real fucking fast. Those guys were having it. Like, nah, dog. Nah, Chief, this isn't it.
But, alright, we got almost 3 hours going. Does anybody else have anything they want to add before we bounce the fuck out?
I want more Persona games on Steam.
You already said that, Blue. That ain't it. I said new, sir.
I hope Hong Kong, dude. I hope Hong Kong gives them hell again, like they did in the beginning of all this. I miss that. They were fighting. They were fighting for their rights, bro. And I want to see,
bro, like gangsters too, grabbing bows and arrows out of the colleges and shit, like true fucking G's, man. True fucking G's.
I was waiting for them to grab the ODM gear and get ready to brawl, you know?
Bro, they were doing so good, and then like it just fizzed out because of COVID, bro.
Yep.
Like, and I honestly believe those two things are connected, dude. Like I know the logical part of me is like, nah, man, you're just fucking being hyperbolic as fuck.
Yeah,
but the other part of me, the tinfoil hat part of me is like, bro, but this cannot be a fucking coincidence.
Dude, the timing, man. The fucking timing. Yeah, it's...
Because those motherfuckers were like actually locking down airports and shit. They weren't just putting blockades up on major travel routes from mainland China. They were literally locking down their fucking airports and making sure nobody could come or go. Because I remember watching one of my food guys go over there during this entire thing when it happened. And the protesters weren't attacking them.
Right.
They were attacking China. They were going against China as a whole. And I was like, yo, like, these motherfuckers are really rolling up with fucking bows and arrows. Like, I thought that was some shit Pete was like joking around about, but no, they were like straight up,
for real,
serious.
Oh, and they're doing
stuff on the road,
and they're doing some clever shit, dude, too. Like defeating tear gas with fucking leaf blowers and gluing bricks to roads so that like armored vehicles can't fucking go through and shit. It's amazing, dude.
Yeah, they took what was it? Highway partitions, the big cement ones, and they were like 20 of them lifted this bitch up and moved it in front of all the roads and shit. So like when you saw these roads, you saw a bunch of artillery and shit at the end of that because they couldn't get through.
Right.
So it's like, damn, bro, like that. If a bunch of people with little to nothing can stop an army like that, there had to have been something, a better way to control them than the way Wuhan Science Laboratory did. And I'm like, like I think China needs to stop fucking with their bullshit of, you guys are so rude for calling our shits out like that. You're lying. Even though we got full-on video evidence of you literally kidnapping people in the streets of your fucking country, and it's been broadcasted worldwide. Everybody knows now that China's in the #1 black market of the fucking world. China's still fucking pretending like, oh, that's not us. I'm like, really? and now that shit's happening over here. Yep. Like, some of that shit's been happening over here, and people are catching that finally. So I'm like, hey, good.
Damn, square didn't happen, guys.
Well, like lately with the protesters and shit, people have been like dressing up in mocked up military gear and pulling people off the streets and throwing their asses in vans and shit, dude. Like, they've actually got that shit caught on video. That's crazy shit.
Yep. But all right, unless there's anything else, I guess that's.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I was gonna fuck around, but no, I'm good.
I guess that's the end for today.
Oh yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn came out on PC.
All right.
Yeah.
That was it, really. I got it, and I'll probably play it, and I'll report if it's good. So give me until next week.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching. We'll see y'all next time. Peace out.